Hello and welcome to the Everyday Board Game Podcast. I'm your host Daniel.
And I'm your host Daniel.
And welcome to our start of our spooky season.
Start of the spooky season. It's the first week of October. When you guys are listening to this, for our live viewers, we're doing this a little early.
Yeah,
my spooky season started September 1st, so I'm not complaining.
Hey, if Starbucks starts serving pumpkin spice, it's October. At this point,
Dutch Bros started brought their pumpkin drink on my birthday, and I was quite happy because that's like one of my favorite drinks that they do, the caramel brulee, and I can get it in zero sugar. It's fantastic. The caramel pumpkin brulee, that thing is fantastic, and it gets in zero sugar. I'm like, I'm excited.
Yeah,
it's still summer, but I'm excited.
Yeah, it's okay. It could be 100 out. That's fine.
I get it cold brew, so I'm good.
Exactly. Refreshing. By the way, Everyday Board Games, sponsored by... Man, can you imagine if we're sponsored by...
we would love it. Yeah, we would love it.
Oh, man.
Everybody keeps telling me this because every time I game with my other people, I always bring Dutch Bros to them. And they're like, well, you should just keep tagging Dutch Bros in your things. Maybe they'll see it and be like, hey, you guys want a sponsorship?
Right.
Yeah. Honestly, you don't even have to pay us money. Just give us gift cards for free drinks.
Okay, we'll take it. It's a free drink. We'll go buy it right before the podcast. We'll drink it on camera.
Yeah.
Problem solved.
I mean,
you know what? Let's go talk with them.
I'm constantly drinking coffee anyway.
Let's go have a discussion with the manager. Enough of them know me. I go there enough. I'll bring up the idea tomorrow.
It's gotten to the point where they know my online order because I'll always order ahead on Sunday.
Oh yeah.
And so literally I get there, Daniel's here. I'm like, what?
What? Yep. And you know what cracks me up is that enough of them know you, enough of them know me, because you go to the same one that I go to, right?
No, I go to the one on Valley.
Oh, the Valley one. Okay, so every once in a while, like when the employees trade, like if you and I roll up together, they're probably like, Wait a minute.
I'm confused. Which one are we supposed to be at?
I thought you were the regular Daniel. No, you're the regular Daniel.
No, we're both the regular Daniels. We're just regular two different ones.
Exactly.
And the reason why I'm the regular at the other one is because usually we'll hit it up after we do grocery shopping or something like that.
Makes sense.
Or my personal favorite is we'll shop over at the mall or something like that, and then just come down
that main drag.
Missouri up and back up, and it's a perfect circle for us. So.
Makes sense. Yeah, see, mine is so close to my work. Well, it's not that close, but it's the closest one to my work. Yeah. Where I could get there to and from lunch break.
Easy enough, yeah. The reason why I like Dutch Bros a lot, and again, we're not sponsored, but it's got a lot of zero sugar options, which is one thing. Dunkin' has more than Starbucks does as well. Starbucks has one zero sugar option. Yeah. Dunkin', I think, has 4 or 5. Dutch Bros has pretty much everything. Yeah. It has a zero sugar option, including their syrups. Yep. Not their pump syrups, but more like their chocolate, white chocolate, dark chocolate, and the caramel all have zero sugar options as well. Mm-hmm. So I like that aspect of it too. Plus, my wife loves practically anything she can find at that. She loves the shakes there. She loves the blendeds there. She loves the lemonades there. She just doesn't do the Rebels because she doesn't do energy drinks.
Which makes sense, yeah.
So, Dutch Bros, this is our saying, hey, sponsor us because we support 2 of your stores in our area.
We're keeping them afloat at this point. You know what's even funnier? So I've got all my coworkers addicted to Dutch Bros. That's kind of our ongoing thing, right? And it's so hilarious because me and my family went down to El Paso yesterday, you know, and because we celebrated my mom's birthday, and I was telling her, it's I have this coworker that her and I get along really well, but we are absolute polar opposites. She's very athletic, sporty, you know, doesn't do anything that would
quiet?
Be even the
The polar opposite means she's quiet and introverted.
Yeah, pretty much. But very much is not the kind of person that would get into anything nerdy. One of our other coworkers had to explain just the idea of what Dungeons & Dragons is. She was like, is that a video game or anything? And when people ask that, you know, it's yeah, you're really not in the loop, right?
Well, technically, she's not wrong.
No, it's not a video game. It's just when one of my other coworkers brought out metal polyhedrals because she's in the game, it's okay, well, you know, it's what are those even, why do you need dice like that, you know? That's where the conversation started. Anyway, so I was telling my wife about this. It's you know, she's more in Dutch Bros than I am, you know, one of the very few. But I was like, I gotta find something like for her birthday. I gotta buy her something, you know. Like all my coworkers and I get along, but I'm like, I have no idea what to buy this person because it's absolutely none of our hobbies cross paths in any way.
$100 gift card for Dutch Bros.
Dude, eventually I might. But we went to the Savers down in El Paso, and we were looking around and stuff. And my wife was like, "Ooh, it's spooky season. Let's go straight to the shirts and all that stuff." She found a spiderweb Dutch Bros shirt that was a large size, a women's large, and it had like spiderwebs on the elbows, had the Dutch Bros in the middle, like in it, and it was from like a few years ago.
Yeah.
And then my wife just handed it to me. He's like, "There you go, you got something." I'm like, "Oh my god!" So I gave it to her today, and she's like, "Oh my god, this is amazing!" And so I was like, "That's right, that's right." Like courtesy of my wife who discovered that gem. It was great.
That's awesome. But with that being said, we have a episode we have to go to. Enough praising Dutch Bros here. I do have a thing I want to clear for our listeners right now, because it is October for you guys as well as the YouTube watchers, that we did have a contest last month. The winner has been pulled, but you won't know it until probably the middle of the month because, again, we record ahead because I have a vacation coming up, and we want to just kind of keep the bubble because we have another vacation coming up in November. So we record ahead just to keep in a nice little space. This way there's no interruptions with our episodes. Right. And so they have been pulled as of hearing this. You just won't hear the name or mention and stuff like that, but they have been contacted and so forth as listening it.
Yep. Cool. All right, well, let's get into today's episode then.
All right.
We're going to be talking about our top 8 debate today for Trick or Treat Studios. And this is one that you've been very excited about.
Yeah, because we finally have played 8 games to do this.
Right.
We've done a board game breakdown of them either last year or the year before for our Halloween cycle. It was fun, but we were like, man, we haven't played enough. I've played at minimum 10 of their games. I've played more than that, but I am talking about a game I haven't played, but in my honorable mentions, because it's kind of cool.
Right.
But with that being said, anything jumping out at you right now?
Honestly, there is a couple that jump out. I mean, with as many of the games that they've done, I've actually had the honor of speaking with the owners of Trick or Treat a couple times, and they're really cool people. I like what they do. They're good people. And one of the guys, like the main guy, he's mega passionate about it. He loves what he does. And true, like Trick or Treat Studios, I should clarify exactly what they are, right?
Yeah.
They are a board game publisher, but also Trick or Treat Studios, long before that, was a manufacturer of like props, masks, all sorts of different Halloween goods that they sell at like Spirit Halloween or Halloween stores or Mass Market and all that. And they were gamers as well, so they decided, hey, if we know how to make these productions, if we know how to produce
and they already have a lot of licenses, right? Too.
And we have these licenses, why not make some of the games, and since we're so passionate about games, let's take these themes and port them over into board games, but make them good games as well.
Yeah, and what I also like about them too is they're kind of also going the restoration style, where they're bringing old games back and putting a new spin on them, like A City of Living, which is Prosperity.
Yep.
There was another one just recently. It's not in my honorable mentions, but it's not on our list either. It's Unchained, which is Nightfall, which was originally, and they put Universal Monsters theme on it. So they're doing some really cool stuff in kind of restoration style too. Yeah. So it's kind of neat on that as well.
Right. But I do know that like there was one other company that was really doing a lot of horror stuff at the same time. That was Funko Games, but right now there is no more Funko Games. So
hint, hint, we might be talking about something in a little bit in a couple months or days.
Yeah.
Or a couple weeks for audio. Yeah,
you hit every range of a few hours.
No, I'm so used to doing double recording, so my mind's a little broken.
Exactly. So we're going to be doing maybe possibly an episode
talking about stuff like that. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's interesting to think about like how Trick or Treat Studios is just a bunch of gamers that work for a horror themed or like I guess Halloween themed production company. Yeah. And it's like, let's do games too. Yeah. And because they already have the outlet to do that. So like you'll see Trick or Treat Studios games at Barnes, you'll see them at Spirit Halloween, you'll see it at like Walmart and stuff.
Yeah, I've picked up a couple from Barnes and Nobles.
Yep.
I usually just pre-order a lot of my stuff just directly from their websites when it gets announced, or if they do Kickstarters, I do their Kickstarter. Yep. Trick or Treat Studios is one of those studios that I am avid for because I love the horror theme. Yes. I love horror games. I'm going to be talking about some based on, and when we talk about our first segment of the day. But yeah, I really do enjoy what Trick or Treat Studios doing. And like I said, I like the fact they're going the restoration style, but putting a theme that I like. Mind you, it's also very niche. A lot of people won't touch these games because some of their
very dark
theme. Yeah. All right. With that being said, we've already done our homework. What have you been playing?
So, I have been playing. I ranted to you about this earlier. There's no lie that we are fans of legacy games.
Oh yeah.
I have been playing a new legacy game, and I say I because it's a one-player legacy game. This is Kingdom Legacy from Jacob Frixelius, I think is how you pronounce it. The creator of Terraforming Mars. Yeah.
Firaxis games?
Yeah.
Not Firaxis. That's the video game.
It's Frixelius.
Frixelius, yeah.
Yeah. And so he has his own company where he made this game called Kingdom Legacy. And when I heard about it, I was like, okay, it's a solo game. All right, cool. It's resource management, and it has like these flippable cards that manipulate around. It's like, okay, that's cool. And it's a legacy. Okay, let's hear it, And so I saw like the pitch videos. I saw some reviews. Some people absolutely knocked it down because it's just because it's legacy. If you watch the Dice Tower review of it, have you seen it or no?
No.
So it was Chris Yee and Tom Vassell, and they were both talking about it. It's like, this game's incredible. This would be a 10, but because it's legacy, it's a 5. And then like just completely trashing it because of that part. Because they're like, oh well, when you're done, you're only seeing you're seeing about 2/3 of the cards. In order to see the other thirds, you have to go buy another copy of the game. Which, I mean, the game's like $15. Like, honestly, it's really not expensive. And I get that. But, and they were kind of hinting at, like, why couldn't you have created a system where it could be a roguelike and you continue to play it? But here's the thing, right? Now having played it, I'm not going to get into too many spoilers on how it works, right? Mm-hmm. And I'll just kind of say if I'm getting into something that's kind of spoilerish. But the basic idea of the game is really simple. You draw 4 cards. Up in the top left of the card, it'll say what resources you're producing. Wood, coins, trade goods, whatever, swords. And a lot of the cards have upgradable costs. So like one might take 3 wood to upgrade it. And it has an arrow pointing to the right off the side of the card. That means that if you pay 3 wood from discarding your other cards and producing those goods, you flip it over, and only the top side of the card that's facing you is the one that's on its active side. Okay. So technically each card is 4 cards, right?
Got it.
And that makes sense. And you can there are times where you might apply stickers and all this stuff. And a lot of that makes sense. And there are some really clever little points in that, like, that's already like a pretty smart idea. You can either upgrade, which ends your turn, no matter how many cards are in front of you, you're upgraded, you're done. Or you can discard some cards to produce its resources, which might matter for later on. Or you could draw 2 more cards off the top of your deck. And the reason that matters is because once you run out of the cards from your deck, then the round is over, and you take the top 2 cards from the main deck out of the box, and you shuffle them into your deck. And every time you gain a card like this, or it tells you to discover a new card, you can look at all 4 sides. Nothing's new on that. But then you shuffle it in, and then that makes the round longer. More choices, more things. Now, of course, again, without too many spoilers, there's bad cards. You would assume, right? Because you're building a kingdom.
It's a legacy game at that, too.
Yeah, it's a legacy game. And there's times where you have to destroy your cards and whatever, or name certain things,
And legitimately, it's basically a co-op. It's just a one-person co-op where you're working with yourself against the game.
Yeah. And it's one game that takes about 6 hours, right? Because it's over the course of the rounds, and once you get to a certain point in the deck, then it says, okay, here's your last round, this is what you're doing, play it out. And the thing is, even after you're done, you score up all your score, and then it gives you a code that you could go online and like put like a high scoreboard or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But then it also gives you multiple expansions in it, 3 in the base game, that gives you ways to play that deck again after you're done with it. So it's not done, right?
Yeah.
There is a stack of cards, probably about 30 cards from that deck that I didn't see. and I still haven't seen because I'm being true to it. It doesn't say get rid of them or anything, but they're going to sit in the box for now. And I don't believe it introduces anything else that's new.
Okay.
So, on that aspect, I get it. I get their argument. I highly disagree. This is now my third favorite Legacy of all time. Hands down. I was so happy with what this did. Yes, there was some stickers that, like, you had to be careful how you shuffle. Okay, cool. Whatever. Yeah. You could have just, like, marked on the card. Yes, like, the Legacy doesn't matter too much. But the way that it introduced cards and the systems that it applied and the choices that it made you do, like, because there was multiple times where I was like, okay, I could either go for this card and it's doing bad things to me, and I could either just pay a cost and just discard it and, like, let it be annoying, because it's going to come back next round anyway. Or I could pay a little fee and then it's going to be kind of a penalty for the rest of the game. Or I could put in all of my resources and have it finally be a benefit. That's a lot of tough decisions every time that card comes out. Mm-hmm. Either remove it permanently for a good reason or a much better reason that's pretty good. I love that give and take with how you interact with stuff.
Okay.
And there are some cards where you can get where they end up staying in play. So you just hold on to them until you get to the point where you're like, okay, now I'll play this. Now it's worth my time. And that's a big decision point. I did accidentally peek at one card as I was putting them back, and I can see how, like, one part...
For different. Yeah, I know. Cheating over here.
I know. Well, I haven't played it.
Asterisk.
Yeah, asterisk. Yeah, judge. And it was just... There was just so many clever things that happened. I highly recommend it. The only bad thing I will say about this game, and again, if this is a reason why you won't play a game, there's AI art, and that's Jacob Frixelius does that. I mean, that wasn't a surprise because I know they did some AI art for previous Terraforming Mars expansions and stuff like that.
Yeah, they got a lot of grief for it. I think it was the Prelude. Prelude 2 was the big issue. Yeah.
Right. And so if you don't like Legacy games, then don't buy it, of course. If you can't get past the AI art part, then yeah, don't buy it. Sure, okay, I'm not gonna disagree with not purchasing it. But if you could deal with that for the time being just to play this game, yes, because that was an incredible experience. I am so happy that I played it, and now I'll put it this way: I'm gonna buy every expansion. And every version of it that comes out. They already announced a few more. I'm in, 100%.
Nice.
Yeah, I was so thrilled with how well it worked. So, there you go. I've been playing Kingdom Legacy.
All right, the first game I want to talk about is kind of spooky adjacent. It's an older game that they put a spooky-ish theme on it. It is a pseudo-sequel or second edition in a way. And this is Above and Below Haunted. Yeah. The new one from Ryan Lockett, Red Raven Games and Ryan Lockett. And honestly, it's a nice little follow-up. It's a little bit more streamlined. They've added a little bit here and there. I love the haunted mechanism when you're dealing with a ghost, because that's the new thing, is like you'll get ghosts in there, and they're negative points for you, unless you get points that allow them, okay, now your haunted spaces are going to give you points as well. And it's not even negative points for you. Every round, if you have a ghost, for every building that has a ghost in it or is haunted, you'll lose reputation per ghost. It's right there. If that's what you were looking for.
No, I just noticed out of the corner of my eye, I saw Frankenstein and then Frankenstein up there. That's why I was like.
But yes, because that's a calendar and that's a statue.
Yeah, it just caught my eye. I wasn't going to make point of it or anything.
Like I said, it's more streamlined. The stories are fun. I love how nuanced they are. They've added quest lines, so certain stories will unlock quests for you to start doing throughout the game. That is really neat. The artwork is what it always is in a Ryan Lockett game, and their Azeroth or whatever their world is called. I forget what the name of it completely is. And it is just fun. It plays a lot like Above and Below. It plays over 7 rounds. If you're playing 4 players, you only get 1 worker in the first round. Whereas if you're playing less players, you get more workers to tag, stuff like that. So you can never go on an adventure in the first round unless you somehow get some sort of ability where that worker immediately goes into your ready to work rather than in the exhausted phase from traveling. There's like a little neat market for the workers now too. If you get them for the cheaper cost, you have to get a ghost in one of your buildings. If you get them at a higher cost, then you'll get a brew, which allows you to rest exhausted workers as well. That is pretty neat. And then the other thing that I really like about it, too, is that haunted mechanism that I was telling you where they go negative. But if you want to get rid of them, that's one of the new actions is you need to use a writer as the one with the quill, whereas you basically use them to buy workers. Well, you can use the writer as well as now to get rid of hauntings. You take away all your ghosts. One worker to take away all your ghosts. You put most of them, all of them pretty much, except for one, back into the pile, and one of those ghosts you put on another player. Yeah, it's hurtful to them, but it's also a reward to you as well, and it's that simple for them to get rid of as well. And so when you take it away, you put it on a certain building, and depending on the type of building you put it on, the type of reward you'll get. Whether it's money by placing it on a place that doesn't have a bed, or haunting a place with a bed, it gives you less money, but you also it's reputation and money. Putting it on a bed gives you money, but no reputation. And then putting it in an outpost, which are the underground buildings, gives you like a brew and a couple other stuff as well. So it's neat how that mechanism works. It's like, okay, I'm going to push this over here. And then sometimes when someone buys that card, which gives them points at the end of the game for each ghost in there, it's like, do I want to put a ghost on them, or do I want to put it over there? But they have the space that gives me reputation, and they're the only ones, because you can never put another ghost on that same building. Can only be one ghost per building. And so it's like, I go over here, I get coins. I go over here, I can get stuff by going to the outpost. But if I put it on that bed, I get the reputation that I need. And it's like, but that's also 2 points for them at the end of the game. It's like, what is that push and pull? How's it going to work for me? And sometimes you're like, you know what? I'm going to give it to you. Because I moved my reputation. Now I got 7 points and you get 2 points. Yep. So it's that little push and pull. I really did enjoy it. Above and Below, Haunted. It is a fantastic game.
And the last game I want to talk about today, speaking of Trick or Treat Studios, I got to play Camp Grizzly. And I know this is one... Huh?
Beat you.
Huh?
I'm going to beat you.
Yep.
Why wasn't I invited?
I didn't even know it was coming. So a friend of mine, he has all of the Camp Grizzly stuff from the original printing.
Yeah.
And he's a massive fan. He says it's his favorite game of all time. And about an hour before he showed up to my door, I found out he was joining us. Because I told him, I was like, dude, I need to try to play this. Like, I want to try it. Because I was like, I know the Kickstarter's over, but you know, I could still late pledge if I want to.
It wasn't expensive either.
No.
For the deluxe edition, it was $80 for everything. That is not bad at all.
And so, and I know he has like pretty much all the expansions, all the stuff. He even bought off Etsy like little miniatures, like resin minis.
Yeah.
For all the characters and stuff. So it was pretty neat. But anyway, let's talk about the game itself, right? Mm-hmm. So essentially, what you are is you are in Camp Grizzly, and you are jealous. And you are playing as one of many different characters.
Time to channel my inner Otis.
I got to play, right, Otis is the main bad guy who's chasing you around. I got to play as a character. You get to choose which character you are. Mm-hmm. And Jim was this guy who was like, the more he gets hurt, the more he gets attacked, the better he gets. And one of the funniest things about it is that his character, when you get attacked, he would draw like 4 cards off the top of the deck. Mm-hmm. Any weapons you draw, you just straight up can use right then and there. But if you get any cameos or like there's another person like assistants or whatever, right? That you basically hit the person for 1 point of damage and then immediately kill the cameos. So basically you're just like here, fight him. You're sacrificing the guys to fight him. It's hilarious.
You're not sacrificing the guys. You're using them as a weapon.
Yeah, exactly. You're using the characters as a weapon, which is hilarious. I played as a character named Tim with 2 M's. And he was like this chubby like magician character.
Famous.
Yeah, I was like, but he had like the picture sold me because he had a top hat. He was pulling a rabbit out, and the rabbit was just oozing blood, like just dripping everywhere. I was like, all right. And then so his honestly, that character was not very good at all, but it was fun because I could try and roll a die and warp to other characters, and I almost made us lose the game like right away because of the way it worked because. I didn't understand it fully. It was like, oh, instead of your move, you can try this. I'm like, cool. So I rolled. It was like, nope, it failed. So what does that mean? It was like, so you don't move. Oh. Well, I'm right next to Otis. Is that a bad thing? They're like, yeah. All right, everybody. Dive that way so that way you can take the brunt instead of Danny, who has no weapons right now. And that was pretty funny. And so, here's the thing, right? You're going to like the game. I think you're going to like it.
It's my style of game.
It's not a good game. in the same way that, like, Betrayal's not a good game, right? It doesn't need to be a good game.
It's the campiness of it.
We had more fun playing this than a lot of good games that we've played, right? And so, if you're looking for pristine strategy and depth and good, like Horrified has, like, good, deep, like, you know, strategy at its core. It's a pick up and deliver, it's a solid game, you know, functionally it's really strong, robust. This, you're, like, oftentimes you're just rolling 2 dice against each other and higher roller wins, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes you can manipulate it, sometimes you can do things. But again, that's not that functionality of a game. But once you get the right number of items, and the way this game works is we're playing the fully co-op mode. I guess there's ways where you could do it where you could betray each other, or there might be verses or whatever. Multiple different outlets of it. This version that we played, once we got one area of ending, and we had all the items,
you play the final scene up in that area.
We played the final scene, which is a lot of, like, just kind of randomly rolling dice to hope for the best.
Yeah.
And I played another game called Boogeyman that did that, and that fell flat with our group. And it did that, like, where you read an ending at the end, and it's like, wow, this is so random.
Yeah.
There's, like we aren't winning by being skilled at this. That has more choice in this one, in Camp Grizzly, but not much. But again, since there's different endings, it's kind of like this action. The ending that we got was
spoilers.
Whatever. It's not a legacy game. It's fine. You'll be fine.
No, I don't want to know.
Too bad.
I would have find it myself.
Okay, you will when you see it. So this ending, the way that it worked was really simple. We just got into a car.
Hold on, let me mute him real quick.
No, you know what? Come on now. There's no spoilers. It's just a random ending.
Some people want to find these out for themselves.
All right, then you can mute it right now. You don't have the choice of muting me. Anyway, no, but this one, we basically had to, like, keep one character as the driver, keep him safe, so we don't fly off of a cliff. And I won't give any results or anything, but there are multiple ways on how that can progress. The only bad choice that we made on that part is that we didn't realize, like, it's like, oh, we need to pick one character as driver. And one of our friends was like, all right, I'll do it. It's like, cool. And it's like, all right, now we need to protect them. Don't let them take damage. And they had the lowest life point out of all of us. They're like, oh, no. Oh, we done messed up. So that was fun, you know. I think this is the kind of game that you would like. I don't think I need to own it.
Yeah.
But I'm glad
that's fine.
it.
I backed it all the way through for Kickstarter. So.
Yep.
But the thing about it, too, is the reason why I think I will like it a lot is because, yeah, it's not a good game. Yes, it's a lot of dice and stuff like that. But it really goes into that tongue-in-cheek B-movie campiness, those 1980s slasher films that we're like, why are you running up the stairs? Come on now, that kind of thing. So yeah, no, that's why I was like, I like that tongue-in-cheek aspect of it.
Yep, it does a great job of falling full force into that.
All right, and the next game I'm going to talk about, and the last game that we were talking about before we get into our top 8 debate, is a game that I also backed as a massive Kickstarter. Actually, this one was G.A.M.E.R, to be truth be told, and I backed it to the all-in aspect of it, and got everything for this one. And they just announced the part 2 that's currently on G.A.M.E.R as of recording. Should be still going when this airs live, but this was Terrorscape, and I gotta say, wow, I do enjoy this game. It's a 1 versus many. The table presence is amazing because we have the floor plan if you're playing the survivors, and then it's the same exact floor plan on the other side of this giant building, which is a screen blocker. And so when the person who's playing the villain is playing on one side of the table where everybody else is on the other side of the table, and everything you're doing is narrating to each other. So we're not telling him exactly where we are. We can, as survivors, can be quiet about it, and I played as a survivor this time around. And we could talk about what we're doing. If we make noise, we're saying there is noise tokens here, and there is a noise token here. And that's all we give the information after we're all said and done. It's like, okay, we made noise in this room, and we made noise in this room. For all they know, we did a red herring and made noise in that room and then ran away. Because you have 2 actions on your, or an action on your turn, and one of them, it could be run away. And then you could have an extra action, which gives you a piece of equipment that allows you to make noise. Like one of my characters has a camera where I could leave it in a room and use it as an extra action, make a noise, and then use my action to run away. Yep. And so they know what I have, they know what we're doing, but we're also making noise because we're trying to find our two ways to win the game. You either play it to find all the keys. You need 5 keys to unlock the front door and leave, and everybody needs to be in the main hallway and leave. Or you can fix the radio and call for rescue and then have to survive 5 rounds, because all the killer needs to do is kill one of your characters. And it's pretty fast how they could do it, because if you don't defend, you take a hit. If they hit that same character a second time, they're gone, they win. They take out one survivor, and that's it. The table presence is amazing. The rules could be a little bit better. There was a lot of stuff that was very vague in there. It doesn't really explain where you set your characters at and stuff like that. And the fact that I got the big box, there's like 6 different rule books, because they don't have a compendium, and I wish they had like a straight compendium. They do have the Survivor Guide booklet, basically, that just describes your characters and the villain and that sort of stuff. But in the rule books itself, it doesn't explain a lot of certain things that you need to know, like what is the starting power for this person or something like that, except for a little line at one little section. You're like, oh, that's what it was. Okay. But all in all, fantastic. I got the great production with the acrylic stuff, and of course there's the minis. This is the one time I wish I was a mini painter, because these would look really good painted. And there's like 2 of everything of the creatures wise, because we need a creature on our side and they need a creature on their side. The villain will actually just have little tokens for the heroes, because they're basically trying to guess where they are. Whereas we know where the villain is at all times, unless they're playing a specific villain that can go into stealth mode. And that's a whole different thing. We've only played the basic one with the Butcher, which is basically the Texas Chainsaw Massacre type of character, but Leatherface character in a sense. But yeah, no, we really did enjoy it. The table presence, the variability, and the component quality is just through the roof. I love this game, and it's not going anywhere. And I liked it so much that I just backed the Terrascape 2. So yeah, looking forward to playing it more.
Cool. All right, let's get into today's episode. As we said at the top of the episode, today's going to be a top 8 debate for Trick or Treat Studios. We haven't told them what games we're going to be debating.
Kind of hinted at some of them.
So let's get into that now. We're going to have our number 1 seed, Nightmare Productions,
going up against our number 8 seed, Creature Feature.
Our number 2 seed, Gold West.
All right, going up against our number 7 seed, Tricks in Treats. Not Trick or Treats, Tricks in Treats.
Our number 3 seed, City of the Living.
Going up against our number 6 seed, House of 1,000 Corpses.
And our number 4 seed, Halloween.
Going up against our number 5 seed, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yep.
One of these things is not like the others.
No. No. And listeners to the podcast will notice that number 2 seed, the one that we paused on dramatically, yeah, it's not horror themed. Nor is it Halloween themed, nor is it anything spooky, and it's literally just a remake of Gold West. It's a classic game.
Looks really nice.
Looks great. Yeah.
We actually got to see a look at it about 2 years ago. Not this past Gamma Expo, but the one before.
A year and a half.
Year and a half ago. And what they did was fantastic. I used to own this game. Yes. I gave it to this guy over here because I struggled with my colorblindness. It looks so much better with the new version because I can actually see everything well on that game.
And I put up with it.
Yeah, I'd rather get the new version. I haven't got it yet. Also, we got to mention, Trick or Treat Studios does have a different line in their line. It's called the Classics.
Something like that.
I have Scoville somewhere around here, but I think it's called their classic lines or something like that. Scoville's in there. The next one starts with a T. It's like a Japanese style. I think it's a Konnichiwa game back in the day. That one's getting reprinted. Yep. Gold West was another one. Something Dwarves was another big one too. That was one that got remade as well.
Yep.
So they have their classics line, and this is the only one that made it from the classics lines. But I was noticing like our top 8 here. There's a couple Konnichiwas. There's a couple Matsuchis.
Yep, that's going to be a thing that I think will be true for the future as well.
Yeah.
And we also put this on our Board Game Revolution group, not ours, on Facebook, but we always post this each time because we like to have people vote for it, which ones I think is a favorite. So we'll talk about that in a moment. But also we have honorable mentions that get added as well. So let's get into that real quick.
All right, we'll get into that honorable mention because only one got added, and this is by Mike, and he added Halloween 2, which, honestly, by our rules, even if it was a seed and we have both played it, we haven't, but we kind of have.
Kind of have, yeah.
It's not higher than Halloween 1, so it would be eliminated and wouldn't be talked about. But it's the same thing as Halloween, the base game, except for in this one, you're not searching for or trying to protect the children. There's 2 kids that you have to protect in Halloween, as well as getting car keys to leave the vicinity before Michael Myers kills everybody, or enough victims, in a sense.
Yep.
In this game, it's based off the second movie, where you're trying to find and protect Laurie Strode in the hospital where she's at, and then you have to escape that said hospital. Pretty much the same, just a different setting, somewhat different rules because of the way the movie interacts. Yep. So that is the only one that was added. That's the only difference between that and Halloween. And like I said, it wouldn't have made our list in the top 8 because of our rule of sameness. That's why when we talk about our Architects of the West Kingdom or Paladins of the West Kingdom, only one of those are going to get talked about because even though they're kind of different, they're in the same kind of lore. Or Raiders of Scythia versus Raiders of the North Sea. Same game, different era, that kind of thing.
Yep.
But with that being said, let's get into our honorable mentions. You want to flip the coin to do?
Sure, sounds good.
He's already forgot how to do this. And that's you.
That is me. First one I want to talk about is a simple game that you and I have both played. This is World Z League, and this is a shooting gallery. It's a zombie shooting gallery game, and I figured this is probably on your list. Just because, really,
I figured it was gonna be on your list, so I kind of avoided it.
Okay, so World Z League, it has great wooden meeples that are zombies. They stand up. They're probably about 4 inches tall, 3 or 4 inches tall. Each team has 4 or 5 of them, and you have 3D buildings that you build up. And it's literally just a rubber band shooting gallery. I don't need to say more than that.
You and me suck at this game. That's what you should tell them.
Yeah. Oh, no. No, so that was because my rubber bands were absolutely being destroyed.
No, because we had other rubber bands and you still sucked at it.
No, we had to keep...
G.A.M.E.R Geek destroyed us at this game.
He had some of the few that lasted. No, I had to buy a board game upgrade for this game and buy a new package of rubber bands. That's what it is.
That's what he's trying to say with
this. Is that...
Him and me could not aim or even when you had good rubber bands, you kept overshooting things or barely touching them or knocked over your own characters. Yeah.
Well, some people, are very skilled at rubber band shooting. I'm all right at it, but still, definitely not with broken rubber bands or messed up ones. But that's all you got to say is it's a giant toy shooting gallery with rubber bands. People got it. I know that game works. The only thing is, I
think it's like House of the Dead or something like that is what I'm trying to remember, the old arcade game where you're... This is what it kind of reminds you of.
Yep, exactly. And as it should. The biggest problem, though, with it is the name. The name doesn't describe that.
No.
It makes it sound like it's some sports game, and I guess, the zombies are wearing jerseys.
Yeah.
Cool. But... I don't know. If it wasn't for that name and that cover doesn't ever sell this game.
No.
Now, if they remade it with a different name, different cover on it, then it'd probably sell better, twice as good.
Honestly, the cover is fine. It's not that great, but it's fine. The name is what throws people off. When you say World Z League, you should call it Shoot Z League or something. Just basically give you a description of what's going on with it. Because that one is just we're zombies playing basketball? What's going on here?
Yeah. And it's no. In fact, we're shooting zombies, and they're not playing basketball. Nor is there a basketball court in the game. I don't know. But I do actually really like the game. I'm going to knock it for that, but I do like the game otherwise.
No, it's a decent game. The first game I want to talk about is one that we kind of mentioned when we're talking about the classic line, is that they brought back Scoville from Tasty Minstrel Games. Hey, look, we already have another one on the list here from Tasty Minstrel that they brought back. But the Scoville one that they have, and that's another thing about the classic line, they got Vincent Dutray to do all the artwork for the classic line. So I like that. The big gripe we had from the original Scoville is you and me struggled because they're this is colorblind friendly because the chilies have heights. Not when you're looking at it at an angle or trying to look it from straight on. Yep. The browns and the greens were pretty much the same color.
Yes.
The reds were too close to the greens. You and me were struggling, and we'd have to take a chili out, put it next to the other chili. Okay, which one is this one again? Or use G.A.M.E.R Dom or Gamehead Geek to tell us, okay, that's a brown or that's a green.
Yep.
It was a struggle. This one is so much better. They don't worry about the heights. They actually put the color on there. If the chili is yellow, it has a Y on there to tell you it's yellow. If it's brown, it has a B on there to tell you if it's brown. So a heck of a job there.
Easy solution. Thank you.
Yeah. But the game itself is fun. I did like it when we played it. I love the little, I got to move this guy, but how do I want to move it? Why are you walking through my path? Now you're blocking me from doing what the thing I need to do.
Yep.
You're basically turning chilies in to create better chilies, or you're harvesting a certain amount of chilies because you want to fulfill contracts to have the best chili at the chili cook-off and stuff like that, and turning in recipes. It is as simple as that sounds, it's a little harder than you would expect, but I really dug this one a lot, to the point where, like, I'm glad I played the Tasty Minstrel version of it, and then, because I knew Scoville was coming, and I'm like, now that I know this is happening, I'm going to go ahead and pre-order the Scoville off Trick or Treat Studios, because we saw a picture that they were sending it to us in when we were there at the Gamma Expo 1 year and a half ago, as we mentioned. But yeah, no, I like this game a lot. This is off the classic line, so not really spooky. Unless you don't like heat, then it is very spooky. When you're saying, oh, this is going to be a Ghost Reaper chili. No. Scoville.
All right, the next one I want to talk about is another Reiner Knizia game. This is a Reiner Knizia dice press your luck game.
I figured this was going to be on your list, yeah.
Yeah, you haven't played this? Or have you?
I may have, I just don't remember it.
Yeah, so I actually really like it. What makes it really cool is that you're trying to basically just rid your board full of from zombies, right? You can either get them off of your board and send them back into the town.
Yes.
Or you could send them off of your board into somebody else's town or neighborhood if you're able to roll extra dice on top of it. And you're just trying to roll as many dice away or as many zombies as you can. They're basically essentially tokens on your mat. You have 8 dice, and each dice has the same faces on it. There's either a double red, a blue, or a green single zombies each, or a ×2, or a house, or a village, or whatever, a store, whatever.
Yeah.
I forget exactly what it's called, but anyway, so you roll them, and you have to set aside dice, and you have to always set aside a pair of dice, or at least one zombie, right? Or I'm sorry, you don't have to set aside a pair, but like they only activate if you set aside a pair.
Mm-hmm.
So I always have to set aside at least one zombie die, which will tell me how many zombies I can get rid of, but they'll only be if I get a pair. So if I roll it and set aside 2 blue zombies, then that means I'm getting rid of 1 zombie because I have a pair of blues. Then I roll it again, I might get a red one, so I'll set aside that, but then I also need to get the house, right, to actually get them out of the way.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm sorry, the graveyard. That's what it is. It's the graveyard, and then the other one is the store, which can send to other people's stores. So if I roll, I have to get at least a pair of graveyard symbols in order to get them off of my board, at least a pair of either blue, green, or the double reds in order to get 1, 2, or more zombies off of my board. And if I also roll a pair of the storefronts, then that means I can send them to the other people. If I roll a pair of ×2s, it also doubles the number of zombies that go out. So essentially what you're doing is you're just trying not to bust. If you ever roll and you can't set aside a zombie face, which is a 50-50 chance, then you bust and then you just don't get anything at all. And the first one to get rid of their tokens, but have it come back to them at the beginning of the turn and still no zombies, wins the game. So once you get rid of your zombies, you're a target. And you have multiple turns before somebody actually gets it.
Yep.
And so that is hilarious when that happens. Sometimes when we play this, there's zombies that are hopping just clockwise in turn order from business to business to business to business, just because, like, yep, you ain't winning today, sorry. And then they slowly start dwindling. And it's like almost like a weird version of zombie LCR that it ends up working really well. It's a great game. It's really fun for what it is. It doesn't need like the high production value. It doesn't need all the zombie pieces. They're like heavy duty plastic. It doesn't need, like anything more than just 8 nice dice, some tokens, and just a little area to show that they're yours. It could have been just in front of you. It didn't need any of that. But Zombie Mania, super fun game.
All right, the next game I'm going to talk about is one I don't own anymore. I liked it for what it is, but it's not that great of a game when it's when we're trying to talk about the theme, and this is Chucky. Now, I wanted a good Chucky game. It's a fine little game. It's a fun little... you're turning in these things to basically dictate where Chucky is, but you're also trying to be like, hey, I'm trying to win this section, so you're bidding on these sections for you can get rewards on this section to make your fight at the end of this round better, and that sort of thing. And it's fine. It plays in 2 parts per round. The first round is basically you're blind bidding. You're either trying to get rewards if you lose, certain type of rewards, or you're trying to win the thing for you can get certain awards based on the location that you're at. And it becomes more expensive depending on if Chucky's there. Then you have to pay victims for that sort of thing. And it's really interesting at how it works. My favorite part of this entire game is the second round. Yep. And that's because not the second round, but the second half of a round is because that's where all the little mini games are. So when you're finishing the final act of a stage, you're basically drawing a card off the top and you're playing that mini game however it says. Some of it is like a push your luck. Some of that is where you're trying to go through room to room and do different battles. Some of them is just a straight up gambling aspect, like I can beat you 2 out of 3 times type of thing, and you pick an opponent and you each roll a die and that sort of thing, and it's really neat. And then if you succeed a certain amount of times, you get points, and then you're also just trying to move up certain tracks because that's how you're going to do a lot of your checks is based on those tracks, and that's the whole point of the first round is you're trying to get the abilities to move up on the tracks. Sometimes they'll give you rewards based off cards. It's got these little neat push and pull aspects of it, but this could have been any theme. They just put the Chucky license on it. And Child's Play was one of the movies that terrified me as a kid because of my brothers. I used to have one of those My Buddy dolls back in the day. I was like 4 or 5, and they kept saying it was coming alive, so that thing got buried at the bottom of my hamper, and I had put like books on top of it and everything growing up because my brothers were evil like that. And of course, they made this movie where a doll comes alive and comes after you, and I saw it as a 5-year-old, so... I wasn't supposed to, but I just kind of snuck watch it behind the couch and no one knew I was there when they were watching it kind of thing. And then my brothers just started freaking me out about it. But it just doesn't give you that nuanced feels like some of the other games that we're going to be talking about when we go into the top 8 of 8. Now, it's a fine game. I honestly rated about a 6. I think it's perfectly fine for what it does. It just doesn't draw the theme out as much as some of the other games. Right. So that is Chucky.
All right, and the last game I want to talk about is a game called Shadowgate. And this is based off of the old school like Nintendo and DOS video game of Shadowgate. A number of years ago, about 4 or 5 years ago, they redid this. And they did a Kickstarter for the video game. And they remade the video game with beautiful artwork. And it went through a long time of development, and then they finally released it. And it worked pretty well. It was true to the original. But, oh my goodness, the art was just phenomenal. Like the production that they put into the video game was really pretty, and they took a lot of the same art into the video game. Shadowgate is kind of like a point and click adventure game, similar to like Myst, except not that good looking. Since it was originally Nintendo, there's a lot of pixel stuff, and there was a lot of weird little puzzles that you'd have to go.
Not nearly as hard as Myst was. Myst was ridiculous.
Oh yeah. I'm just doing that because that comparison is kind of like
what everybody knows. Yeah,
but it's like a point and click, right? You have like the screen up in the top left that show you what you're generally looking at, and you can click on it with a mouse cursor, or you can choose the menus and interact and use items or whatever, right? And so you were basically stuck in this creepy castle called Shadowgate. Well, here's the thing. The original video game was known notoriously because you would just die almost like every opportunity. There was so many ways that you would die. You would die, again and again and again. That's kind of the silliness of it. And sometimes in very logical ways, sometimes in really terrible, mean ways, sometimes in absolute absurd ways. Yeah. And this board game leads into that as well. You're trying to get the most points. You're competing against other people by trying to complete these missions and stuff, and using certain items on certain things in order to complete it. And there's so many opportunities where you're just going to die. And they know that going into it. It's like, it's not player elimination. It's not that bad. You get -5 points if you die. That's it. Every death card is -5 points. Which really isn't that much. That's like the minimum victory points you get from completing a mission. Like a really easy one is like 10 points. Yeah. Right? So death is just common, and they very much leaned into that. I like it. I think it's silly. I don't think it's one of the best games that Trick or Treat Studios has brought out, but I do appreciate what they did with it, and I'm glad that they made a board game version of Shadowgate, which is one of my favorite video games.
I still want to pick this one up because it looks interesting, and yeah, it's going to be brutal and it's going to be mean, but
yep.
I'm fine with that. I remember the old Shadowgate. I love the cover of this one. It just looks really, that gargoyle just sitting ominously at you.
Yeah.
I like at the board game shop that you work at. Well, it's a comic shop with board games.
Yep.
But I like it because a lot of times they put it on the very top shelf and it just looks menacing at you over the top shelf, and it just makes me giggle every time I go
Which
in there.
I will say, it is all sold out now.
Oh, nice.
Somebody finally bought it this last week.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
that's
the one
awesome.
copy we had left.
That's good.
Yeah.
But no, I do it. I do want to try this
it
one.
It looks down on you.
Yeah.
In a menacing way. Yeah.
All right, and the last game I want to talk about, you kind of stole my thunder on this one. It's a game I haven't played, but it just recently was on Kickstarter, and I'm looking forward to it because this was a Grail game for me, and I'm finally going to get it. Yeah, it's probably going to be another year before I get it.
Sure.
But this was a Grail game for me. I was looking for this for a reasonable price, not for what I was looking online on eBay and stuff like that. And this is Camp Grizzly. This is a game that I really want to get into. Like we mentioned at the top of the podcast when you were talking about when you played it, I love the tongue-in-cheek aspect of it, the campiness of it. I am a big fan of B-movie horror movies. I love the campiness of those things. What was it, like Sleepover or Sleepaway Camp or something like that was a fun one. Or Velocipaster, if you ever go find that on Prime. That is a fantastic movie. I enjoy everything about that style of game, the campiness. Yeah, the dice rolls, or that's going to be a little bit lucky. I also love the fact that you could possibly have 4 different endings depending on the kind of stuff that you find, and then the ending is just going to be completely off the wall kind of thing that you kind of mentioned about it. Mm-hmm. I also like the fact that the one thing that bothers me a little bit is only one killer, but it makes sense because Friday the 13th, you only want to see Jason, even though he's not the only killer in that movie. Yep. Or same thing with Nightmare on Elm Street. Freddy Krueger, that's who you're looking for in that movie. Yep. Halloween, you have the Season of the Witch. That's a whole different aspect of it, but it's mainly Michael Myers in that movie. Yep. But other than that, it is a fantastic series that looks really good. And the fact that I finally get it at a relatively decent price with upgraded bits, more streamlined rules, I made sure I got the one that has acrylic standees. I love acrylic standees, and the fact that you can get it just makes it so much better. I don't have to worry about minis, and I don't have to worry about painting minis because I have acrylic standees now. I am a big fan of that, and it looks really good. I can't wait for it. This is a Grail game. Again, I looked at eBay, and like a copy for everything in it was close to like $300. Yep. So now that I can get it for $80, you could probably go to the resale market right now, and it's going to be a lot cheaper because
of the Kickstarter.
Because the Kickstarter. Yep. But yeah, Camp Grizzly is one I have been looking forward to, and then you went and stole my thunder on what you've been playing.
You're welcome.
Jerk.
And I played it. I've gotten to experience the game of your Grail game.
Yeah.
It was all right.
Well, there's no accounting for taste when it comes to you. So.
Yeah. All right, speaking of not accounting for taste, let's get into today's episode. Topic debate time. You ready for it?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this, especially for this first matchup here, because these are 2 of your favorite designers.
Yep. And these are almost the same game. And we'll go into that in a bit.
Yeah,
So the way this works is very simple. We have the Coin of Doom, which we'll be using the Frosthaven coin today, and we have the Cup of Doom. We'll pull out the 2 seeded games. We'll both flip it. Now, the way we came up with this list is quite simple. We went on BoardGameGeek.com, put it by rank. We took the top 8 games that Daniel and I have both played, and we put those in that order of ranking. Now, of course, if there's games that we haven't played, or either of us haven't played, we can't do that because we can't argue either sides for it.
Yeah.
So again,
we've done that before. It doesn't work.
Yeah, it doesn't work. That was way back when we started the episodes. It just didn't make sense. Well, I'll take your word on that.
I never played it, so.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, that was just silly. But now we're gonna redo that now and talk about Trick or Treat Studios today. There are 5 criteria. It's called a G.A.M.E.R criteria. First one is game immersion, and that breaks down: is the game fun to lose, player interaction, and memorable moments.
Next in the A is art and production. The art, the pieces and components, and the graphic design. Some of these things are better than the others, especially even when it comes to Trick or Treat Studios doing one studio. So,
meaningful choice, impact on other players, depth of strategy, tactics, or skills, and do arbitrary choices or analysis paralysis weigh negatively on the gameplay.
And the E in G.A.M.E.R is ease of play, simplicity and familiarity of the mechanism, likelihood to get to the table, i.e. mechanism or theme, or is it easy to learn, understand, and or teach?
And the R&R gamer, and the last one on this list is our replay value. The length of time is scaling well, minimum number of plays for the full experience, and expandability, current, existing, or announced expansions.
Trying to think. I don't think a single one of these have an expansion to it.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre had some promos.
We don't count promos.
I know. That's the one.
All right, so, and then finally, when we cannot come to a consensus, that's why it's important you go to the Board Game Revolution group on Facebook, because we always put a poll before we record, and you could help us be the tiebreaker.
All right, and of course, if you're joining us live, join in on the chat. Here we go.
Starting with you.
That's right.
And you get Nightmare Productions.
Nightmare Productions. So, this is the closed auction one. There's a Reiner Knizia remake.
Silver Age.
Huh?
Reiner Knizia
Silver Age, right. It was a remake of Silver Age by Reiner Knizia, which I guess that original one had, like, actual famous people and real movie titles and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I think it got a lot of...
the Silver Age of film.
Yeah, it got a lot of heat for using those pictures. Anyway, but regardless of that, Nightmare Productions, the way this works is really simple. You're trying to complete different movies. They can be worth a number of stars or points based on how good or bad they are. And you're trying to get stars, you're trying to get co-stars, or different actors, directors, stuff like that. Certain ones can fit in there.
I was going to say, you got the wrong one. Co-stars is the other game.
Yeah, that's right. What makes this fun is that you have a certain amount of money and you're bidding on that. It's an auction. And once somebody wins an auction, the money goes to the other players that are involved in it. So if I bid and I win 8 and we're in a 3-player game, I have to give 4 to each of my opponents. If there's any left over, it stays on the board. And it carries over to the next auction that wins, and then that just helps spread out the love. Once you complete a movie and you get all the tokens needed or necessary for it, then you compare it to see how many stars it has total amongst all of your characters, directors, whatever.
And the film itself.
And the film itself. And then that'll be your point value. There's chips that go all around this reel that's on the main board, and you pick those up, and you play over, I think, 3 rounds, right? 4 rounds?
4.
Yeah. And the most points on that generally win. Except you also get bonuses if you make the worst horror movie, which is hilarious because that's awesome.
Or the best acted movie.
Awesome. Yeah. Oh, the best what?
There's also, you get points at the end of the game for the best acted movie. So you get the most points based on stars from your actors and I think directors.
Yep. And a lot of these tokens are limited too. So if I get an 18-point chip, if there's only one of them, and you get 18 points, you actually get the next available one down. So you might skip multiple spaces and get even a low score, even though it's a really good movie.
I score an 18 and we're like 3rd, 4th round, I may be dropping all the way to like the 14th chip.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, overall, there was some really exciting moments. I love the closed auction because there's times where you count up your money and you're like, okay. And I remember there was one rule. I got to tell the story because that's our favorite moment, right? Yeah. We were all playing, and I remember I had I had the majority of the money.
You and me had most of the money at the time,
And I remember I bid, and then you bid. We bid back and forth, and then at one point you bid like 4 or 5, and I was like, wait a minute, are you allowed to bid if you don't have the money? And you're like, no. I'm like, then we look over at Dom. You broke, dude. Like, that's all, like, I don't know how much money you have, but I know you don't have any money. Because that,
he
by his bid plus what I have, you're not even close. Like, there is no way you have that, like, anywhere fractionally, like, close to this. And I thought that was hilarious, right? And we all just, like, loved that moment, right?
Yeah.
That was my favorite, like, stand-up moment. And probably out of all of these games, that was one of those. It was just, like, absolute ridiculous.
One of my favorite stand-up moments in this game also is the fact that I go, I'll start this auction at, let's go 7. Dom goes 8. You're like, what am I not getting? Yeah, there's 2 things on here.
Yeah. It was, like, 2 stars, right? And I remember I did the math. I looked at all of the stars. I was like, okay, between the stars that are on here, there's about 15 stars. Amongst our movies, there's a couple more, and there's like, I think there was like 30 money between us. I think it was like we each had like $10 or something like that, right? Yeah. And I remember I was like, okay, so that means if we auction off all of this, every star is effectively $2, right? Mm-hmm. And there was 2 tokens, and like one had a star, and the other one was like nothing, right? And I was like, and you guys were bidding in like 8, 7, and 8. I'm like, what's going on here? Like, and I mean, granted, like I wasn't even close to winning, but that didn't equate to how I figured out that math. I'm like, okay, I know the approximate value of these. It's about $2 per star, $2 to $3 per star. Cool. All right, that's easy enough. And you guys are hardcore. They're like $8 per star.
I could tell you why we were doing it. You just didn't pay attention to the tiles. There was only 2 directors on the board that we know of.
Yeah, it inflates the value of it, but still at the same time, it's like, what?
You need a
they're not that good.
You need everything to end a film.
Yeah.
There's only 2 directors on the thing, and you're trying to score the best film in the first round.
Yep.
So
it was just one of those things where it's like, I can't believe like how ridiculous it was. So this had those stand-up moments. Now I will say, art and production, that board is ugly. I'm not gonna like sugarcoat it. That's an ugly board. It looks like a film strip.
Fine, but it's not great.
The film is awful. Or the board is awful. Like, other than the film strip, it's just like this, like, cheesy black worn out canvas look. Like, that doesn't make sense in film. It doesn't look good. I hate, like, how bland it is. The reel itself, the tokens are really chintzy, and you have to put them all
I'll
out.
give you that,
That isn't great. The standees kept falling over, right? You know, because they're super tall compared to the little standee.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, the strip made sense, but then it had like this effect where it's like, oh, this strip would flip this way and then this way, but then the folds didn't make sense, and then on top of that, the film, like the actual frames were transposed like diagonally to make the board work. Like, once you see it, you can't unsee it, and I can't give it art and production for that at all.
I mean, it's better than the boards and creature feature. I'll give it that, but it's not that great.
I argue they're not. I mean, those are not trying to be special, and you can tell that it's like this is just pure function, and that's all we need. And the art on the cards are beautiful.
Also gives you generic pawns and creature feature. That's my issue about it too.
Oh yeah, I know. Where they could have done custom meeples.
I'm sitting there like, are we playing Sorry? What's going on here?
Yeah. Like, I have a feeling. Like,
well, if I lose one of these, I could just go raid a Sorry board.
Right. I'm gonna move this 2 spaces in that direction and never do anything else until I can capture a piece. What is this? Yeah. But anyway, other than the art and production, Nightmare Productions is probably moving on in my eye.
All right, so I get to argue for creature feature, and this one was neat. Not gonna lie, I haven't played it in a while, so I had to do a little bit of homework just to, especially how close these two are.
Right.
These are the main ones about creating movies, whereas in Nightmare Productions, you're actually bidding to try to hire actors and try to hire a director and special guests and stuff like that to complete your film. Yep. In this one, you're hiring co-stars and stars to make the best film and win, maybe, or run away. And there is like a little, not really bidding, what is the word? Bluffing aspect to this game, where is you're going to play 2 cards on your turn. If one is higher than the other, then it's called being a twist. And we're talking about you have a co-star and you have a star, and you're placing out the 2 cards. Your co-star is always going to be flipped up for everybody to see. And they all have a number on them, because you basically are just trying to combine the number. Whoever has the highest is going to win. But at that point, when you're playing and everybody sees, everybody has to make a distinction starting in turn order, whether they're going to jump down and try to produce the second film rather than anything else, or jump all the way down when it goes into the second part of the round to see if they're just like, I'm going to take this, reward here, even though it's not great, and I still get some points out of it. And the big twist is because of the twist, and what you're trying to do is you normally, if you want to win a bid, you want your star to be higher than your co-star, but you get a trick. So every time you win a game, you get everybody's point totals and you win outright, but they're only going to be worth 1 point for you at the end of the game. If you play with a twist, you get to take them at their higher cost. And what we're talking about twist is the co-star is higher than the star card. And that gets all revealed after everybody's made their decision if they're jumping or staying. And if you win by a twist, you get the higher point total because you get to keep them face up rather than face down and be worth 1 point at the end of the game. But you may have the higher total if somebody else stays into the game itself and they're have a 17 to your 18, but they didn't play a twist. They automatically win and you lose, and they get your cards. and they become a point. So there's that little bit of a bluffing, like, did I play a twist or did I not play a twist? It's really neat. I love the campy artwork on this one. It's the Universal Monsters outright. You got the vampires, you have monsters, you have werewolves and mad scientists and stuff like that, and they all have their different point totals, but all the invisible men are basically the same price. All the vampires are the same price and that sort of stuff. You also have it's like sidekicks or guest stars or something like that gives you a special power when you play that card. Gives you certain abilities and stuff like that. That's really neat. And you're basically just playing over a certain number of rounds. That sometimes you'll have a double feature. Most of the time it's just going to be single features, and you're just playing through that kind of thing. And so how's it going, Triune?
Hey, Triune.
I really do enjoy what it did. It just, the art is kind of generic. The bluffing system is kind of tricky. It took us a little bit to figure out how that one works.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I think Nightmare Production moves on, but I don't mind creature features. In fact, I still own it.
I didn't think it was that bad. It's just there was enough convoluted parts of it where it's like bluffing is only good if you can if the bluffing that you put into it could directly relate to you resulting in a win, versus like if you already have a high total anyway and somebody's potentially bluffing, there's still like chances where it's like, it's probably not worth it just hanging out. You know, it's not like a make or break kind of thing. Yeah. Which is what makes the stakes so much higher in like a poker game and other bluffing games. That's why it's like, oh, okay, well, like you still get something even though you bluffed, but it's just you get last pick, so it's like it's not that good. Yeah. You know, I don't know. There was something about it where I was like, all right, it's fine. I mean, don't get me wrong, it was fun, it was cool. Richard Garfield did a great job in it. It's just it wasn't like amazing or anything. And
I also think about the fact that like at Nightmare Productions, you're still going to be able to do something. Like I could be pushed out based on the card draw in creature feature based on my card draw. I could be pushed out and all I'm getting is the small rewards. Maybe I'm getting like a point or two per game. Whereas at a point in the game, I'm going to have more money than you guys, so I'm going to win an auction.
Yeah, exactly. So I get that, but I mean, but that since it's a closed auction, right? It works. Like you can win this auction. Sure, we know you're going to buy it. I'm going to get money from it.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm still going to bid you up because I know you want it, and I need more money, so I'm going to bid it up, not because I don't want to. And then even when I do bid it up, and you're like, all right, fine, you take it. It's like, wait a minute, I don't know stuff. You know, that's so much more exciting than like, it'll be worth half if you bluff. Versus I can't imagine. And bluffing in board games. It must have been a deck builder. That's right. Training System, thanks for joining us too. This is the first time you've ever joined us on chat. We appreciate you.
Yeah, but Nightmare Productions, fantastic game.
So we agree. It's moving on.
Yeah, I agree.
All right.
Out of the two.
Yep, I agree as well. And my pen doesn't hardly work. All right, cool. So, with that being said, thank you. Mm-hmm. With that being said, our next round is Gold West versus our number 7 seed, Tricks and Treats. Here we go.
Yep. And you get Gold West, which you're probably happy about.
Yes, quite. Because this will be the only one that we talk about that's not spooky season, right? Yeah. Now, Gold West is a prospecting themed game. You're getting gold, silver, and bronze or copper. And you are going to be going throughout... I might have stolen this pen from you. I don't know. We'll see. And you're going throughout this Old West area, digging in the mines, visiting the town, building up the railway to try and get points. There's a track that you move up to get points, which is always fun. And basically, it's kind of like contract fulfillment. You're trading in these tokens to directly buy contracts for points. And when you do that, you put them on this track. And it uses like almost a Mancala mechanism, right? You pick up one of the spots, you have a board on the side of yours, and you make your pans flow, basically. You take them all, put them one per, and anything that falls off, you just kind of get for what they are. It's a really clever system. I don't want to belabor it too much. But what really sets it apart is that we already really like the game, but we couldn't play it because it is not very colorblind friendly. Yeah. They did an okay job. Like, there's either pentagram, hexagonal, or octagonal pieces for copper, silver, and gold, which works. I mean, that works pretty fine, and they did represent that on the cards. So I can see where they were trying to do that and trying to fix it. Mm-hmm. But now this is just flat out, no, like, you have legitimately different shapes. Yeah. And the art on the boards are more vibrant, it's a lot clearer, and they have the expansion built in. Gold West is an awesome game, and I also now just talking about it makes me want to play it again.
Yeah, I also like the fact that the board is like a map.
Yeah,
it's shaped like a map,
and it's the portions, it's not just a fold-out board like it used to be. Well, actually, no, it didn't used to be because that had like the hexagonal portions that were fit in. But no, I think it's a great game that deserves to be moving on.
All right, so the game I'm going to be talking about is probably one of the first Emerson Matsuuchi games ever that get published.
I think he self-published the original one.
Yeah, the original one, and now Trick or Treat Studios picked it up when they were first coming into board gamings, and this is called Tricks and Treats. It's a neat little card game where you're trying to play out cards, candy cards, into different buckets. And you don't want to let everybody know which one is your bucket because we're just putting our candy out there and trying to determine who's going to get the most. But you're also trying to trick them into feeding your bucket, and then you're trying to call them out because if you call them out right, they get eliminated and there's more candy for you. And so it's a neat little game. You're playing cards out. You're trying to be like, okay, if I put it here or I move it here and do that, am I going to feed my bucket? Well, I'll put this 2 in my bucket because no one's going to expect me to put a 2 in my bucket. And they're going to expect me to do like a 6 or something in my bucket. Whereas I'm going to put this 6 over here because I think that's Kalissa's bucket. And I'm going to put it on that one. And this way everybody's like, oh, wait, that's his bucket. I'm like, no, that's not my bucket. You never know. And so you're trying to do that kind of bluffing as we were talking about earlier from Creature Feature. Mm-hmm. This one works a little bit more for me because you're bluffing in the sense that you're trying to push people away from where you're going. So if I'm constantly feeding one, they're like, okay, that might not be his bucket, but who is he feeding right now? And so I love that little aspect of it. Do I think it's a better game than Gold West? Not really, but for a card game, it's a little fun. There's more immersion, barely, in Gold West. It is more fun to lose in that game. The player interaction is somewhat there. There's more player interaction, actually, in Tricks in Treats because of the way the cards are played and everybody's just looking at you like, why are you playing in that one? That sort of thing. And so it has that aspect. The memorable moments are slightly better, so I guess it would get game immersion just because of the memorable moments. Because of I think you're bucket B. I'm going to call you out. You're wrong. I'm bucket C, but go ahead. That kind of thing. So, yeah, it is a fantastic... which one has the best art? Gold West as of right now because of Trick or Treat Studios.
Yeah.
Because Vincent Dutray. But I agree with you. I think Gold West moves on.
Yeah, and I'm not going to belabor the point, but I was actually really disappointed in Tricks and Treats. Well, because I had like one of the original versions of it. And, I'm a champion for clever games. And I could put aside ugly art, because the original one was pretty bad art. Mm-hmm. I was like, I could put aside all that stuff if it's a fun little clever game. And everybody who I saw reviewed, they all like it. And when we played it, I was like, oh my goodness, this was awful. And the reason why I didn't like it is because I have other candy-themed games where you're trying to be the secret person trying to get the most candy. That's surprisingly common. But as you were playing this, because the stakes are so high, if you say, I think Daniel's this card, if you're wrong, you're eliminated for being wrong. Mm-hmm. That is such a high stake, you need to be sure of it. Yeah. And if you're not sure of it, you're not going to risk it. And meaning that you don't want to make it that telescopically obvious that you put that in there. All you're really doing is putting candy in buckets that make them as balanced as physically possible. Yeah. So it really just took out that whole portion of the game that could have been fun for me.
Oh, we did not do that.
Yeah, see, I am so envious of that because it's like, man, it fell so flat for us when we played it. And it was just like, this is not enjoyable, like, as we're playing it. But, that's why I don't own it anymore. Yeah. So, I agree. That'll be Gold
right over
West.
there.
Yep. Maybe I'll give it another chance, but I'm not itching to do so.
And it honestly, I treat it like it's just a small little card game that's filler that takes about 20 minutes. So
yeah, I prefer Candy Chaser if I'm going to go small little filler. Candy-themed one.
I think I have Tricks or Treats from Leader Games on my Shelf of Shame right now, so I want to try that this year.
Yeah, we should. Absolutely. All right, our next round. City of the Living versus House of 1,000 Corpses. Here we go.
I get to start with City of the Living. All right, so City of the Living is an interesting game. If you're very familiar with Reiner Knizia, you know of a game from Astari called Prosperity. This is a remake of that. This is what we were talking about at the top of the thing, where this is the restoration spooky adjacent. So they're bringing back old games and put spooky games themes on it. And this one plays pretty much like Prosperity. There's a little bit more streamlined rules. At the start of your turn, you're going to flip over a tile. Oh, at the start of the game, based on your board, your tiles are going to start in a certain way, and everybody starts the same way. And then you're going to flip a tile. Everybody's going to trigger what the bold is on there, and then you're going to put that tile out where it tells you to put. So you put it on the gray side or the orange side, and it just depends. In this one, you're trying to keep the zombie apocalypse from overrunning your camp. You're trying to be the most successful camp. Currency in this one is oil rather than actual money for Prosperity. Really good production value through the roof. You got like wooden oil drums. You have wooden zombies. Decent art where it's very legible. I had some issues with Prosperity's art for the graphic design because I had struggled with some of the colors on there. And what's neat about this is that once you're done with that aspect of the tiles, you take two actions. It could be the same action or different things based on what you're triggering. I can buy a tile and to put on my board. I either put it in its designated zone. I may cover another tile by doing that. And then I adjust my board as we're going because the board changes as you're going. And sometimes you'll get good rewards for having more, or you're going to earn more money during the income phase if you put, or in this case, oil, if you move that track up high. Or you can move the other track high. That tells you how many zombies you're going to get in the cleanup phase. And so zombies are bad because zombies can block you from scoring if it gets to a certain point. And you need to make sure you mitigate that one. So if you're familiar with Prosperity, the zombies are the pollution in this one, and the oil is the money in this one. But I liked everything that it was doing. I love the different track systems where I'm like, oh, I got to do this. Oh, that tile's out there. I'm going to run up this track because no matter how high I go on the track, either it's $2 for me where I'm at on the track, or it's $1 cheaper for me if it's tiles behind my track that can help me out, or it's $2 for every track ahead of me extra. So I'd pay 2 plus 2 plus 2 if I want to go to the third. So I'd have to pay 6 money to get that really good one that's way up there. But I can make it cheaper by going up this track and maybe getting on par with that and make it cheaper for me to buy then and there. But I liked all that aspect. I love the going up the tracks. I love the fact that it only plays through the tile. So I think every turn someone's putting a new tile out there. You put it in the section that's supposed to go. The lower ones tend to be at the very beginning, and it just triggers the different sort of stuff. So I like what it does. It's somewhat immersive for what it is. The art production is through the roof compared to the Astari version of it. There is a lot of depth in this game based on like, do I do this? Do I do this? Do I cover this? This means I'm going to have to go down one, but am I good here? Because I'm going to climb these up over here. So that little push and pull is like, I'm going to go down this track, but I'm going to gain up on this track. So that means I get less zombies, but I'm not getting as much money. That kind of thing. I love that aspect where you're trying to decide what's best for you. It's actually quite simple of a game when you're teaching and stuff like that. There is a little bit of nuance to it, but compared to some of the other games on this list, this is pretty well done. So that was City of the Living. Out of these two games, I don't know which one I like more.
Don't get him started on Hit Me Triune. He would argue that the game doesn't stand on its own, but I stand by it. I appreciate you nonetheless.
You're biased.
I am slightly biased, yes. All right, I'm going to argue for House of a Thousand Corpses, which, first off, I think this, out of all of these, this is the second best production out of all.
So
it's a beautiful cover. The art, they did a phenomenal job on it. All of the cards have fun little, parts of people, which is pretty funny. Those are your trophies.
Oh, another thing we need to mention about House of a Thousand Corpses. First off, mature audience only. Do not play this with younger kids, because it is macabre. And you're also playing the bad guys in this game.
Yeah. So basically, every person you end up killing in that, or not killing necessarily. You capture them, right?
Yeah.
You can either bring them, or you can straight up kill them for some benefit, which gets them off the board, or you could bring them more likely to I don't know the main
Dr. Satan.
Yeah, exactly. You can bring them to them. and get more points, but that's a lot harder to do, and sometimes they fight back, you know. There's those minor details.
And then the sheriff shows up.
Yeah, then the sheriff shows up. This was a fun game. I enjoyed my time playing it, and I didn't know anything about the source material. I hadn't seen it. I know you had, and it's interesting to see it from like the bad guy's point of view. I mean, yeah, again, it's a very macabre theme and it's very dark. But if you're okay with that, then you know I don't think that there's anything that's specifically graphic.
If you're into horrors, then you're gonna like the.
Yeah, you would like the theming of it pretty well, and I like how it's cooperative. You know, you're all working together to do bad stuff, which is pretty funny. Yeah. Overall, there's not too many games where you're like the bad guys being cooperative, right?
I also like the fact that you have like the Arc Nova mechanism where you can get more powerful, or in this case, free. Where at the further up in your line.
Yeah.
But then you put it all the way to the bottom of the line.
Yeah, exactly, and so you have like those different options for different actions, and you can kind of push yourself more, but it takes fewer action cubes because you only get a few of those back every time.
Yeah.
So yeah, it had a cool system going on it. It's one that I would play again. The biggest gripe that we had though when you and I played it, and you know where I'm going with this, is that the very last round we knew we were lost already. Like it was the least fun game out of all of these to lose because there was one point where
we mathed it.
Yeah, we figured out the math. And we're like, okay, we're the only possible way is if we get lucky here, we're gonna need 12 actions. We don't even have 12 actions between us. And therefore...
No, the lucky was if this came up, a certain card didn't draw up. But the odds were against us, that card comes up from that pile.
No, we even mathed it out prior to that. We're like, no, even if the card is the one, that was our plan, is to get that card. It's probably here, so let's go do it. And then that final round, we're like, okay, it doesn't even matter whether it is or isn't. We don't have the actions to do this. Nobody can get over there fast enough. It always felt like one person was kind of mitigating... Like, just kind of like, you know, all right, I'll be over here, I'll deal with stuff, and if this pops up, then I'll deal with it.
You and me were mitigating at different points. We just let Dom run wild because he was the best taking care of business kind of character.
Yeah. And so, I mean, overall, I enjoyed my time, but yeah, I mean, it was a letdown at the end, so I was a little perturbed by it, but, you know, I digress.
Yeah. And so, yes, co-ops as a villain. That was what intrigued me about it. Is because when they got the license for this game, Rob Zombie specifically told them that we had to play the bad guys.
Yep.
So I thought that was kind of cool. All right, so both of us are kind of on the him and haw in here. So let's do the game immersion. Which one wins game immersion?
Definitely House of a Thousand Corpses, I think.
Yes,
well, but then, I mean, game fun to lose. It wasn't fun to lose.
It wasn't fun to lose, but that's the only one I think it loses. Because I think there is a lot more player interaction in this because of the co-op aspect, because we have to communicate with each other. We have to be like, okay, this is what my character can do. So I am role-playing this character. I'm good at this sort of thing.
Yeah. And then the memorable moments. Yeah, there was enough of those where it's like, oh, check out this piece I got. Ooh.
Whereas City of the Living is multiplayer solitaire.
Oh, it's very dull.
Yeah.
Honestly, yeah.
I think the art is better in House of a Thousand Corpses.
Yes.
Much better. Though the City of Living's not that bad. Meaningful choice. Impact on other players. Not much impact on City of Living. There is a lot of depth in the strategy that you're doing in that game based on the track system alone.
Right.
Because you want to make sure you mitigate zombies, but you also want to make sure you have enough currency to buy certain things. Yeah. And then... Which one has more arbitrary choices? I think it's House of a Thousand Corpses because of that point where you get to the track, or your good powers are at the back end because you've already used them and you don't have enough points to exert.
Yeah, it's a very tight
system
economy.
Yeah. Which one is easier to play?
Probably House of a Thousand Corpses, honestly, because the co-op nature. I feel like both of them have enough depth into them where they're both not economic, but like they're both like have a lot of moving parts, and you have to consider that. But because it's co-op, I think it just makes sense.
Yeah, and I already know House of a Thousand Corpses wins replay value, not because they both scale roughly the same based on the player count. You may play a little bit longer because of the co-op nature of House of a Thousand Corpses, and you can make it longer or shorter depending on what you want to do.
Yeah.
But the expandability, or not the expandability, but the minimum number of plays for the full experience, just out of that base game, there is like 8 different people you can play, and even if you're playing in a 4-player count, you're only playing 4 of them, including one of the main characters that you take bodies to.
Yep.
So.
Yep. I agree. So House of a Thousand
Corpses moves on. Though I do love City of Living. That's probably my favorite of the reprinted Knizia ones.
Yeah.
So, yep, let's go in over here.
And then Choyun said, well, I'll read that here in a moment once I'm done sneezing. Carry on.
He says that is a downside for me in some co-op games when you can calculate the loss before the game is over. It's not a deal breaker, but it's slightly frustrating. Yes.
Yeah, agreed. But like if the game was shorter, right? It's also still like makes it better where you're like, oh man, we're just hitting hard times, hard patches. It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But then there'll be times where you're like, okay, cool. We have worked really hard for this point, and now we know mathematically it's just not possible. We could do exactly what we need to do, and just because of the way that it came out, we have one action fewer. And that's annoying. Yeah. Thank you. Bless me, indeed.
So, my this next bracket here is my favorite bracket.
Yeah, agreed. Halloween versus Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
And I love both of these games. I think these are my two favorite games out of this list.
I know one that I want.
Who gets it? You?
Me.
You get the one you want. Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
House of 1,000 Corpses. All right. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the board game. Okay, this is my
Which is funny
because
this is the one I want.
Yeah. First off,
I wanted Halloween because that's my favorite.
Halloween is great. It is an interesting game. I mean, I'm not going to say great. It was pretty good. I did enjoy my time of it. I have some quarrels against it, but it was exciting. It was really fun. Art and production, though, hands down, is Texas Chainsaw Massacre because of the bag. The grotesque bag is this pleather-looking bag that looks like it's stitched together with flesh, and the inside is lined with a red silk. That is such a great component, and it's needed because it's a bag token builder. You're putting tokens into it. You're trying to pull out the right ones. It's a press your luck. Press your luck is always fun in a cooperative game. In fact, I think arguably out of all cooperative games, press your luck is the best mechanism to use in co-op games because it is the most exciting mechanism for co-op games.
I do have a flaw for this one I'll get to in a minute.
And that's fine. And I absolutely stand by it. There is no player elimination in this, even though your characters can get killed, which is pretty cool. So when your character gets killed, it's
great.
It is so good. That bag is just fantastic, and it even stands up on its own, which is great. Like it's a really well made bag. It's the highlight of the game. But another part of it is that as you're going on to the board and moving around, once your character dies, once they suffer enough wounds, then they get put on the hook. And if 3 characters get put on the hook, then they lose, or then you lose as a group. Mm-hmm. But the thing is, if your character dies, then you can still continue playing. You just pick another one of the characters from the movie.
Yeah.
So you carry on. Each character has their own special ability. As you're going on to these spots, you pull up tokens. If any of the bad guys reach you, then you have to run away, but then you take some damage depending on how enraged they are. And one of the funniest things that I love about the game is that you always have to get the keys, and you have to get a number of gas cans based on the number of players. That's just in order for you guys to win. That doesn't mean you need all the players to win. Each character can hold 2 items that are necessary. So if I have the keys and 1 gas can, and we're playing 4 players, and we need 2 more gas cans, if Daniel here happens to have the other 2 gas cans, him and I could just get in the truck and go, leaving the other 2 characters behind. That still counts as a win. Arguably, it's not so much of a win for them.
It's a win for us.
But there are your dead cards where you pull it up and it's just flavor text and you just read how you died. You got put into a stew, like that's fun.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, they have a little barbecue tray.
Yeah.
That as you're pulling tokens, you're putting it into the tray, and all you have to do is dump the tray into the bag. There's a lot to like about this game, and this is why it's my favorite out of these. It is pretty fun. Actually, the tabletop equivalent of Dead by Daylight, the video game, is Dead by Daylight, the board game, made by our friends at Level 99. And it's pretty darn fun, honestly.
Talking about putting them on hooks.
Yeah, talking about putting them on hooks. Yeah, they got 3D hooks up in there. But this game, I just enjoy. I keep looking to go back to it. Out of every single one of these games, this is the one where I want to get back to even more. Mm-hmm. There is one inherent flaw in the mechanism, though.
Go ahead.
And that is, if you're able to reveal one of the family member tokens, there is exactly the number of family member tokens as there are spaces on the board. Mm-hmm. Meaning, if you know where one is, because one of the characters can actually reveal it, Yeah, they did. If you reveal it, then there's no reason you're ever going to take that one. And if you never fill out that last track, then the third character, which is I forget who it is. I don't. It's not Leatherface.
No, it's Hitchhiker.
Hitchhiker. He never populates on the board. Like, you can guarantee it. And that's stupid.
Well, that's not the only inherent
I wish
flaw.
that there was a few other tokens.
That's not the only inherent flaw. When we played it, it was kind of like the ending was anticlimactic in a sense because we were just sitting there waiting for a certain thing to happen. And
oh, yeah. Yeah,
and you and me were just sitting by the van waiting for Dom to show up over there.
That's right, because Leatherface can never enter the van.
Yeah.
Right.
And so it's just like 2 or 3 turns, we're just sitting there waiting because he was all the way over here running up there. And so for me, the ending was like a fart in church. It just wasn't there, and I didn't have a good time in that one.
What? I've never heard that saying before. All right. Yeah, I don't disagree with that. That was the one big flaw against that, right?
Whereas you don't really have that big of... Right, there is flaws in Halloween, but
sure,
that one is more so true to the movie than any of the other stuff on here, like House of a Thousand Corpses and Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That one follows through because when you're playing this game, one person is playing Michael Myers. This is a one versus all. And so one player is playing the Michael Myers and everybody else is playing the survivors. Mm-hmm. And if one of your characters get eliminated, then you can bring in a stronger character with a weapon and stuff like that. And the whole point of the game in Halloween is as survivors are trying to find the 2 kids, rescue them, and find the keys to the car and run. Yep. That's pretty much it. You don't have to have everybody running. You need one person with the kids to get out of there. That's it. Yep. And so I love the fact that you're playing that anticlimactic, and the fact that we put the Halloween soundtrack on the background, it went down really well. In the fact that Michael Myers just pops up, and it's like, oh, I just spotted him. Where'd he go? And all you're doing is putting feet on the board for people out there. I like that aspect. It's like, I just saw you, and now they're gone. Mm-hmm. And that kind of thing is like, okay, did he rush by me, and I saw that he was in that general vicinity? I also love the line of sight in this one. Your character has to be pointed directly for them to see. Yep. I could be behind you. You don't know I'm there. Because it's a hidden movement game, in a sense. It's like a remake of Spectre Ops.
Yep.
And so it's the hidden movement. So I can be literally behind you, and then a stabby, and your character's gone. I love that aspect. This is by far the most thematic of all the games. This one really gets you the feel. Because when you're playing the survivors and you see him pop up and then he's gone, like you're looking out the window, you're in a building and you look out the window and you see the feet token there, and you're like, he was just there. What just happened? Mm-hmm. And that aspect of it. I like the fact that he gets more powerful further on, more damage he takes, certain things happen. I like that aspect of it. This game, to me, through and through, is what put Trick or Treat on the map for me. One, it's my favorite slasher film. I've always loved Halloween. Yep. I think it's one of the best ones because it does that nuance, kind of like Jaws in a sense, the movie, where you feel that tension with the music. You feel it with this one. John Carpenter, the music that he made for this movie was fantastic. You feel that tension every time you hear the dee in the background. Yep. You're like, oh God. Or you just see him just standing in the background, and then all of a sudden he's gone because a sheet flapped in the way and he just moved away, and it's like, oh, how fast is this guy? I love all that, and it comes through in this board game. The board is a little ugly to look at. It's fine, but it's grids because it's hidden movement, so people need to know aspects of like C6 and C9 and stuff like that. Sure. He's on the board. I could take a pot shot at him. Am I 6 spaces away kind of thing? It's important for there because the Michael Myers player has his own little board that he's playing on, that so nobody knows where he's at. They have a certain amount of actions. All the characters have asymmetry to them as well, and the Michael Myers has different cards that can give him abilities and stuff like that. I love everything about this game. It's not simpler than Texas Chainsaw because its bag pulling cooperative nature makes it a little bit easier, but for me, this is just a much better game.
I don't disagree. I do think functionally it is, but I feel like because it's a better game, that also gets it in its own way. Because, like I remember one of the biggest things about that board is that there's so many areas where, like, a big portion of the board is just walled off because it has to be, and there's portions of the board where you're like, there's no reason hedges. I would ever need to go into this spot. I would never want to go into this spot because that would be such a dead end. It would be hugely detrimental to me. And I remember there's so many of those things where it's like, in order for this to functionally work, it has to do these mechanisms. And while in some aspects that, like, the being right behind the character, that's really great. Like, that's hugely thematic. Like, game immersion, I agree. That's premium on this, right? But, and then at the same time, like, I agree, it's a good game, but yet for some reason there was times where I felt stale on it because it's like, all right, I know he's standing waiting at this door for me. All right,
I wasn't at the door.
I'll move at this step. Right? Yeah, again, you could have moved, but, like, again, if I reveal you at, like, one of these spots, like, everybody who's on the other half of the board can just kind of, like, all right, cool. Like, you go ahead and die over there, that's great. We're going to take care of what we need to do now. Hey, can you just, like, I don't know, keep dying and stuff? Like, that's important for us. You know, and that's like,
but that wasn't the thing either. Yeah. It's because Michael Myers can literally clear across the board pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And that's what I loved about it, too. Is like, oh, he's over there with Daniel over there, or Danny over there. Yeah, and then next thing I know, I'm like right behind Dammit Dom, and he doesn't know it because they're thinking, oh, it's fine. He's over there. He's been messing with Danny, all right.
Right.
And all of a sudden, Dammit Dom takes an injury, and he's like, wait a minute here.
Hold on. No, and those parts were great, but I remember those weren't things you could do consistently, right? If you did a big movement like that, you had to, like, have like a recharge turn right after, right?
Well, not really. If I took damage is when I had to do a recharge turn.
Right, and that's what I'm saying is that, like, when we know you took damage, then it's like, all right, cool, we're good for this round, you know.
Except for the simple fact that I could actually walk through hedges at certain points.
Yeah,
your guys are like, wait a minute.
You're thinking Last Friday was the one with the peephole for the murder. So, I mean, like, don't get me wrong, like, I like it. These are definitely the two best games that are on there. So let's break it down.
Yeah, that's what I was
just to be all fair. Game immersion, Halloween.
Yeah.
Cool with that. Art and production, Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
I'll give you the pieces and components. And the graphic design's just slightly better, but I like the art better in Halloween.
Well, sure, you like the movie better. Well, no. I didn't like the way the board looked, honestly.
The art is in there. Yeah, they kind of look like the characters, but some, like the hitchhiker kind of looks like the guy, but doesn't. It's like, which movie are you doing? Are you doing the 70s movie, or are you doing the 90s movie?
Oh, that was clearly the 70s movie. No. If you look at the characters, one of those characters is very distinctly the 70s version of the character. And if you know, you know. What I'm saying, though, is that, like, the only real art you look at on Halloween is the standees and the board. And the board was pretty dull.
The board is dull, I'll give you that.
Yeah, and so if that's the difference, right?
But those cards are really nice, too.
They're alright.
No, the artwork, like the kids and stuff like that, those are good.
Okay, I don't remember those. I never saw those.
Oh, that's right.
That's the thing. I was too busy all
You were the first one eliminated, wasn't it? Then you got the guy with the gun.
Yeah, probably, you know. Also, yeah, the board is very busy on that.
Meaningful choice, I think, goes to Halloween.
Okay.
Because, one, there is that impact on other player strategies and stuff like that, because I can pop up on the board left and right wherever you don't know about. Plus, there's arbitrary choices in Texas Chainsaw Massacre inherently because, like I said, we got a quote there at the bottom. Agree. Texas Chainsaw Massacre is easier.
Yep.
And replay value.
Okay. So, most of them play fairly similarly each time. The big thing about Texas Chainsaw Massacre is that there are 9 different objective cards. That, again, they kind of get in their own way, but they add to it. So you basically, as a group, decide how many of those you're playing with. If you're playing with 0, that's like the easiest difficulty. If you're playing with all 9, that's the hardest difficulty. You shuffle them up and you deal out certain random ones. I normally play, if I'm playing easy mode, about 1 per player. And it sounds almost undoable. And a lot of them will be like, oh, you and another player have to be at this spot for whatever theme. Or you need to do this, or you need to pull these tokens out at the end. Or you need to get attacked by this character, right? And there's a lot of those extra ones. Once it's complete, you flip it down, you're good. And I like that replayability of it. That's what really sells it for a lot of people, because the tokens, they come out that way. You know, the board kind of plays the same, even though you change up where every token is, every space. But you know Halloween better than I do, and I don't remember there being any too much difference in how like the game works each game?
The game is shorter than Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yep.
So it gets that one. The minimum number of plays, there's not much difference. It's just basically the characters that you're using, because I think there's 5 teenagers that you can use, and then you have the 2. Okay. So one of the teenagers won't be used in that game.
Okay.
That's pretty much it. They all have different powers. So at most you need to play 2 games.
2. Yeah.
Neither one has an expansion. They both have promos, so none of expandability. So for me, replay value is a wash.
Okay. Well, let's call it a wash then.
Which means it's 2-2.
Yep.
And I will do a quick refresh.
Not that it'll matter.
Not that it will matter, but...
Because there's one that's very clearly favored.
Yeah.
Alright, Halloween moves on because, nobody gives any love to Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Yeah, last Friday, it was a neat one. It was a hidden board, but it was weird how it worked.
Alright, with the eliminated games, we have Creature Feature. The first one eliminated had 9% of the vote. Tricks in Treats in Texas Chainsaw Massacre had 0% of the vote. And then finally, City of Living had 1% of the vote. So, there's that.
Brutal, yeah.
Right, so moving into the next round, we're going to be facing Nightmare Production and House of 1,000 Corpses.
That's right, shall we? Here we go.
Shall.
Then you'll be starting us off.
And I just dropped one of them out of the bucket.
Alright. Cup of
I'll
Doom.
be starting?
You'll be starting.
Nightmare Production for me, which means you get House of 1,000 Corpses again.
Okay.
Out of these 2 games, which one do I like more?
I
like one more. I like one more. I do like Nightmare Productions for what it does. It's a very simple bidding game.
Yeah.
My favorite aspect of this game we mentioned in the beginning is that closed auction system.
Yes.
You can math where everything's at in a certain extent. At one point, I'm like, okay, if you're bidding 8 and I have this much over here, then damn it, Dom doesn't have much of anything over there. So that tells me I'm only having to fight you. And do I have more than you is the thing I have to worry about. And I also love confusing your brain when we're bidding high on certain things because we want certain materials because we don't know what's in those 2 blind spots. We don't know if there's a director over there. There's only 2 directors on the board. Mm-hmm. I need one of those directors to finish this film I can finish the film in the first round, that kind of thing. I like that aspect of it. I love the simplicity of the game. It's like, here's my money. I win the auction. Mm-hmm. I get to put these on a film. Yeah, I overpaid for something I don't need, but I got the stuff that I really do need to put on my films here and complete a film. This way I can start working on the next film. I do like that aspect of it. It is by far the simpler of the 2 games because it's basically a bidding game. You bid money, you get resources, you build a film. That is it. Mm-hmm. That is your turn. You bid money, you get it, you win it, or you don't. It's that simple. And then you get more money to bid on the next round. It's that simple. And you go through, I think, like 4 before a break, and then 4 before a break, and then one last, 4, and then the last one, which is another break action. And then you move on to the next round. You do it in 4 rounds. It plays pretty quickly. Other than that, I have a lot of other issues with Nightmare Production. You mentioned it in the beginning. It is not a looker. It is not a good-looking game. The board is boring. The trophies fall over all the time. Yep. I do like the scoring mechanism. Like, I completed this film. I got 18. I take this token. That's going to be my points at the end of the game. I like that aspect. But I also love the fact that the next person down, or next time you score 18, it's going to be less for you.
I like that mechanism. I think that's brilliant. I hate the way they implement it.
I like the wheel.
I don't.
It's better than it's the best thing on the board other than the score track. Because the score track is like you see in any other game. It's the score track around.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like if that is, you're right. That's the best component.
It's not that great. The trophies are fine. I love the fact that they reward you for having the worst movie.
Right.
That is great.
I agree with that.
I love that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But other than that, I don't see it moving on because House of 1,000 Corpses, it does so much better on certain things. Not the expandability, the replay value, the art and production is through the roof comparative to Nightmare Production. But then again, Nightmare Production is like one of their first games that they reprinted.
Yes. You can tell that they've really stepped it up since then.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, so House of 1,000 Corpses. Again, we talked about it. It's a cool idea. It's a flip on what you would think. It is a cooperative game with the villains, which is awesome. as with the movie, that you're seeing it from their point of view. And it's really a clever idea, and it does work, again, but the only big drawback is that ending where it's like, if you just didn't plan, it's almost not worth playing the end. Now, that really only knocks it down with game immersion, honestly. I think that as far as memorable moments.
And then for me, Texas Chainsaw Massacre falls into that same funk, too. And I think it's inherently with their co-ops right now.
Right. Yeah, I don't disagree with that. So, Nightmare Productions, I like everything except for the board and the art and production. The art and production is just absolute trash in that game. But other than that, the game itself is really clever. It's really smart how it works. So, that's one that I would consider buying, just because of how clever it was.
And you catch it on a deal, you'll pick it up.
Yeah, probably. So, we're going to break it down, because in the semifinals, we always break down each of ours. And without belaboring it too much, there's some that are pretty obvious. Art and production is House of a Thousand Corpses. That's easy.
Through and through. And replay value as well.
And replay value is House of a Thousand Corpses as well. Yeah, just because of all of the different things you can do. Now, Nightmare Productions, though, meaningful choice, that's better there.
But see, we're not talking about horror games. We're talking about trick-or-treat studio games.
Yeah, but you're right. Nightmare is amazing. If only Nightmare was one that they would remake.
Anyways.
I mean, really, though, they're doing
I don't like Nightmare, so you're on your own.
No, I know, it's a terrible game, but if you can agree with, Camp Grizzly being fun, then Nightmare could be fun, too. But anyway, we're beside the point. Back to this meaningful choice that is Nightmare Productions. Then we have Ease of Play. I also think that's Nightmare Productions. Without a doubt. Yeah, it's just an auction.
We'll come back to that here in a minute.
No, it's just an auction. That's all it is.
Yeah, that's the simplicity and familiarity of the mechanism. The other two categories is a different story.
Right, okay. So Ease of Play, likelihood to get to the table. I mean, making horror films and getting bonuses for making the worst horror film. Amazing, right?
Yes, but also people are going to play House of a Thousand Corpses because of that theme.
Sure, yeah.
Especially if they're into horror movies, yeah.
But do arbitrary choices, there's no negative arbitrary choices, and it's not AP because it's a live auction. Well, it's literally just jump up. I'm talking for Nightmare Productions.
We're talking Ease of Play, and you're going to Meaningful Choice.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. Easy to understand, learn to teach. Again, it's an auction. That's very simple. So, simplicity, familiarity with the mechanism, easy to understand, learn, and teach. You're just bidding stuff. You need to fill in the categories. You make the film. You're done. That's all it is. And I just taught you that, where House of a Thousand Corpses is a lot more in depth. So I think Ease of Play goes to that. Okay. Ease of Play, meaningful choice, and art and production. Goes to... Oh, wait. Whoa, sorry. Hold on. Art and production... You didn't let me finish. Goes to House of a Thousand Corpses.
Yeah, we already said art and production replay value is House of a Thousand Corpses.
Yes, so really it boils down to game immersion, right? Which one is more fun to lose?
Neither, really, honestly.
Yeah, because of that disappointing ending at the end. The other one's bland, but... And don't apologize, it's all good. But game immersion, neither are fun to lose because House of a Thousand Corpses could be fun to lose if it didn't have a letdown at the end, for our experience. Player interaction, though, that's
much
probably
more in House of a Thousand Corpses.
Yeah, although, I mean, there you go. You have that auctioning, and that interaction that you said at the top of it, Dom, you broke, bro.
Yeah. You said it at the top of it.
Yeah, but that was your favorite part in that whole game, right? When that happened.
No, but I had a lot of fun, memorable moments in House of a Thousand Corpses too. Like we're sitting there, like. That better not be a Run Rabbit Run. And we're like sitting there hoping and praying, and then it pops up and it's like, oh good, it's not a Run Rabbit Run. All right, we're good. We're good. We can do this now. And then or I'm like, all right, I can do this. I can take this person and take him to Dr. Satan and score the stuff there. So I have a lot more memorable moments in House of a Thousand Corpses.
I felt like it was more memorable moments in game immersion Nightmare Production just because that auction led to it. Although I'm not saying that there wasn't House of a Thousand Corpses, I did enjoy it. I feel like I probably would have enjoyed it more if I actually played the movie. Played the movie. And watched the game, by the way. Watched the game, played the movie. I can't wordily right now. Alright, so are we calling it a wash, or are you just really impassionate that you think game immersion is House of a Thousand Corpses? I'm kind of indifferent.
I'm kind of indifferent. There's two memorable moments for me, Nightmare Productions, where I have more memorable moments from House of a Thousand Corpses because I played it with
I have
other
a hugely negative memorable moment, in which that is a massive detractor for me.
Yeah,
that ending was one of the biggest letdown in that game.
I still haven't beat the game. I've played it twice, so I played it with this group and the other group, and the ending wasn't as bad the second time around. So.
Well, you're lucky then, because man, that was a sour experience for me.
Okay, I guess it's a wash, because neither one of us are budging on that one, because apparently you... Oh, God. Okay, that's not bad.
No, it's not a tie. We're good. We're good, y'all. We're good.
Nightmare Production moves on.
Okay.
Because somebody's a crybaby over here.
Sir, just because you like the movie better, House of a Thousand Corpses.
I don't like the movie. That's the problem. I don't like the movie. It's my least favorite Rob Zombie movie.
Okay. I'm being amicable. I'm just saying, like you always take that into account when we have that. It's like, if there's a really bad moment, memorable moments is a huge detractor. And that was the one thing out of that whole game that I remembered over everything else, is how bad that ending was. So much that I forgot most of the other mechanisms. So I'm like, and you would never let that fly in any other game.
No, right? I'm not disagreeing. I'm like, we're not going to move. I have more memorable moments from it. That's what I was talking about.
Yeah.
And I've already mentioned the fact
that... So next time that happens, you're a crybaby. You admit this, right? That's how that works.
No, you're a crybaby.
No, if that's the point... Sir,
see, I'm basing it off it off one place.
Childish
You're basing it off the fart in church,
sir.
All right?
The fart in church. That fart in church, it done stunk up a heap, sir. You angered the gods because of that fart in church, sir.
All right. Moving on to the next one.
Gold West versus Halloween. Never thought I'd say that. All right. Here we go. Gold West versus Halloween. You're starting us off.
And I get Gold West. That's interesting.
Okay.
Gold West is a Euro through and through, honestly. Yeah. This is one of the games that will never get game immersion from me because it doesn't have memorable moments for me.
What's the game about again?
Going up tracks, all right?
Ooh, tracks. I like tracks.
Going up tracks, trying to propagate the board, getting resources. It's resource management, contract fulfillment, track system. It's literally every Euro mechanism you can really think of. It's got thrown into this game, and you roll with it. It is a fun game. I do like it. The new version is much better than the original Gold West from Tasty Minstrel Games. That I wholeheartedly agree. The art and production is through the roof in that aspect. I think the board is better. The art, I think, is better in Halloween, and the graphic design is slightly better because... they
fixed all the icons.
And they fixed the iconography. It really made the colorblind friendly of the original board. I give it that. But I just love the pieces and components in Halloween. It's basically standees. That's all it really is. But the card stock is fantastic. The card stock is really good. The artwork is very good. Gold West has Vincent Dutray art, though. So, for me, that's where the push and pull aspect of it is, too. Because I love Vincent Dutray art. I pretty much own a lot of his games that have his art.
And in all fairness, we have not played the Trick or Treat
Studio version of it. Yeah,
we've looked at the pieces. We've manipulated them a little bit. We have not played the actual game of it.
Yeah, but I can say this. I can see everything pretty well. And so, that, like I said, if I was able to pick this up on a deal, I'd pick up this version of it. Because I saw where I could pick up the Tasty Minstrel version of Gold West when we were at our most recent Bookman's Run. I'm like, nope, I gave that one away. One is more immersive than the other. Hands down, it's Halloween is more immersive than me, but there's a lot more art and production value, as well as there's a decent amount of meaningful choice in this game, too, in Gold West. Honestly, I don't know which one moves on. I know which one I want to move on because it fits more for the theme.
You're going to argue it.
No, it fits more for the theme, what we're talking about, too, when we're talking about, like, it's spooky season, it's Halloween.
Right, but we're not talking the theme. We're talking this
studio,
publisher, and they publish both of them.
Of these, yep.
So it doesn't matter that it's spooky season. We need to take that bias out of here.
No. This is the Halloween episode, all right?
No, it's not. This is Trick or Treat Studios Top 8 Debate. They produced both of these games. It doesn't matter that they're spooky.
Yeah, I know. But I know which one I prefer, but I'd be fine with the other.
Would you?
I would.
All right, let's move on. Gold West.
No, we got to break it down just like we did the other day.
You didn't seem that. You didn't seem that good about it.
You're trying to cheat over here.
No,
because the last
I was waiting for that reaction.
No.
Hold on. Let me argue Halloween real quick. All right. Let me. No, it's an uphill battle, but I got this. I think I got this. All right. Let's see it. First off, game immersion.
No, I'm talking about like.
No, hold on. Let me say my thoughts. Game immersion, hands down, Halloween. Right? You know that's we know that. It's not very immersive in Gold West. I think Halloween. Halloween. I think Halloween has been very clearly stated that it has the most immersive part of it because as the killer, as Jason, you can hide behind people. The hidden movement is a very clever way to do it, and there's multiple ways that you can move around that aspect. I also think that it gets ease of play very clearly because I think that is a very simple system. Everybody except for the killer is trying to find the characters and get out of there, get out of Dodge before it's too late. Whereas the Jason player only has to move. Is it Jason? No, it's not Jason. Never mind. It's God. Why can't I remember the name? I don't watch the movies. Whatever. The Halloween guy. Ooh, spooky season.
Where's that lightsaber?
Where's that lightsaber? Hey, that wouldn't be part of the spooky season though.
It'll be spooky for you what I do with it, all right?
It ain't a horror movie.
It'll be a horror for the crowd. Watch me beating you to death with it.
Anyway, so as you're playing with Jason and you're sneaking around, so you correct me, I ain't saying it. No, but anyway, like so meaningful choice. I feel like there's that. I think it's ease of play really is pretty clear on that. And then while Gold West, yeah, it does have a lot of modules that you can play with and change around. And in this version, it has the water module, which again we haven't played yet.
Yep. It doesn't inherently change anything.
No. Functionally, it's really similar. And even though the board layout is different and, like, the tiles and the tokens come out and, like, the little
the board layout really isn't that different. It's just what you're using. Like, if you're not using the water module, you just flip it to the other side.
Right, exactly. But you still have to put out, like, the randomized tiles. Too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, like, again, it's, like, whatever. I think it's more meaningful choice, hands down. I think it's just more of a pure strategic game. But I mean, that's about it.
Though I do remember in Gold West, there is AP in this game.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
A lot of AP in that game.
Yeah, that part would be the rough part, right? But depth of strategy, tactics, skills, sometimes you're just like, you're standing there, so I just got to wait, and you can either stalk me or you can go across the board and then finally free me, and then... But why would you do that, right? Mm-hmm. So it's pretty obvious how that's going to work. Impact on other players, it's obvious how that's going to work. Yeah. Like, there's those exciting reveals. I think Halloween gets, like, 4 of the 5, pretty much.
I give Halloween game immersion.
Yeah. Maybe like, art and production.
I give it ease of play.
Yeah.
And I give it replay value.
Yeah.
Art and production, that's for me is a wash because both are really nice. Both have decent art. Vintage trays slightly better. Yeah. But the pieces and components, both are good. I like the graphic design a little bit more in Gold West because I can actually read the board now in the colors and stuff like that. Yep. So it just makes a lot more sense that I give Gold West. I get those two mixed up all the time for some reason in my tongue. To Gold West, I give art and production there because I like the art a little bit more because of vintage trade, but 3-2 rather than 4-1.
Yep. Either way, Halloween moves on.
All right, moving on to our next one. Let's talk about the ones that just got eliminated. House of 1,000 Corpses had 0% of the vote, and Gold West had. Where is it at? Did I not put it on here? Or did someone take it off?
No, you clearly didn't put it on there.
No, because I had 8 on here, and I had it on here. Someone took it off. All right. Well, it had 0% of the vote because people didn't want to vote for it, I guess, because I remember putting it on here, because I specifically put 8 posts on here.
Rude. How rude. How dare they?
All right, with that being said, moving on, we don't pick a side on this one.
Nope.
We have our number 1 seed, Nightmare Productions, going up against the number 4 seed, Halloween. One of these things is not like the other. No. One's about making campy B movies, and one is a campy B movie. Not really. Right. Yeah. Halloween's not a campy movie, but it is a fantastic movie. It is a really good movie. Yeah. And it's Michael Myers, by the way.
That's who it is. Oh, man. That's right. Austin Powers. I forgot about that.
That's Mike Myers?
Semantics. I mean, why hasn't Trick or Treat Studios done like a So I Married an Axe Murderer board game?
That would be amazing. That is such a good movie.
You do like some beat poetry out of nowhere. Like that would be hilarious.
Don't pull Funko Top Gun where you're playing beach volleyball.
Yeah, a random beat poetry mini game. I don't know. That was more of a plot point than beach volleyball was in Top Gun. Woo.
All right. Excuse me. With that being said, we don't take a side on this one. We just go through our criteria, our gamer criteria, and find out which one is going to be the winner here. Yep. Anyone that looks out to you here?
Art and production is Halloween.
Oh, I do not disagree on that one. I was going to say the exact same thing.
Yep. Also, I think game immersion is Halloween.
I agree with on that one as well.
Meaningful choice, I think, is Nightmare Production. That auction is so important.
It's important when it's coming to breaking your brain.
No, but that's it. That's the game.
Yeah.
If it's one thing that Knizia knows how to do is clever auction games. That was his bread and butter. Raw, Amun-Re, any other auction game that he's made. They all have an interesting twist on auctions, and they all work. And they all work really well. And this is a very tactical game. I don't think that the tactics and skills and there's no arbitrary choices in that one.
No, there isn't. No, I'll give you that because also when it comes to the depth strategy, tactics, or skill, you can play a great Michael Myers player, but if you're not rolling the dice well,
yeah. I forgot there's even dice in the game. Oh my god.
Yeah. So
step it up, Jason. Come on now. I love this.
Let me put this on a blank screen real quick. This way, nobody sees what's about to happen.
Thank you. I like Freddy Krueger during this franchise. It was great, wasn't it?
All right, with that being said, Halloween wins. No, it's meaningful choice. Ease of play.
Yeah. Hold on, Nightmare Productions probably is just my guess. I'm not saying for sure. I just think simplicity of familiarity with the mechanism.
The bidding,
auctioning.
Yeah.
Hidden movement isn't that
inherently easy. Emerson Matsuuchi does it wonderfully.
He does.
He's by far the best one that I've seen doing this one. He did it better than Funko did.
What would you say the most well-known or the most played classic hidden movement game is?
Fury of Dracula.
I would say Scotland Yard, like the classic 1980s game.
I hear more people playing Fury of Dracula than Scotland Yard.
Well, here in America, sure, yeah, but I'm saying like Scotland Yard was huge in Europe because it's Scotland Yard.
Of course, London, you would go with the Euro one, but
no, that was like the original hidden movement game.
It was the original. I don't think it was the most played.
Oh yeah, more people play that hands down. Well, yeah, if you go by plays, we can figure that out later. But yeah, I'm willing to put money on it. I think Scotland Yard is way more well known. But beside the point though, neither of those games, either one, doesn't compare to auction anything. That's been around so long. So that's familiarity.
Like I said, just Emerson Matsuuchi did it really well.
Yeah.
But I don't disagree with
that. That doesn't make it more familiar though. He did it well. That's
he made it more approachable than some of these other games we just talked about.
Yeah. Easier to understand, learn, to teach. I think again, Nightmare Productions.
Yeah, and I think it's because of the simple fact that you have to teach two sides of the board, unless the person who knows the game is playing the Halloween character Michael Myers.
Yep.
And that it's just for the simple fact that I know how this works, then I'm going to play this character. If I'm teaching new people, I don't want them to be the Michael Myers character because they don't know how.
Right. Yeah, you would probably be Michael Myers for most of it.
And so it's just that. And it's easy to learn, understand, or teach. Bidding is just much easier. So I give Nightmare Productions.
Okay. So we're at 2-2 and down to replay value. Now, replay value. Length time scaling well.
That's Nightmare Productions.
Yeah.
It plays 4
minimum
rounds.
Number of players or plays.
Nightmare Productions doesn't really change any different as you're playing. No. You will have different combinations based on Halloween. Now, I don't know if it integrates with Halloween 2, so there's that. I don't know about that, but there is a Halloween 2. I just don't know if there's integration.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's standalone or if it integrates. Neither one has an expansion, so Minimum number of plays for the full experience, I give Halloween. The rest of it is a wash.
Nighttime Scaling was Nightmare Production.
Yeah, Nightmare Production, minimum plays, expandability is a wash.
Yep. Oh, okay.
So
the way you said it, I thought you were like saying, no, that's the only one that counts, and then wash for the other two. Yeah, I agree. It's a wash.
It's a wash, so it's 2-2. We go to the vote.
Yep. Which I think I know which one it is.
I'm going to hit the refresh one last time and see here. I think this is the second top 8 debate in a row. We had to go to the vote.
Yep. Well, I mean, there's a reason they're that well.
Wow. Honestly, I don't disagree, but wow, I was not expecting that.
Yep. Nightmare Productions, although it gave us a really good running, it only had 18% of the fan votes. Our number one winner,
Halloween, which was at 63% of the vote. So,
in which he's ecstatic about it. Like, it's a good thing you went in there and patted that vote, because then if it went down, no.
You're starting to put shenanigans over here, huh?
Hey,
and we're about to get off screen, so
you
want to go home safe.
On. You're just saying that since I argued fairly for Nightmare Productions, Ultra Crybaby, you're the Freddy Krueger, Jason.
I'm wearing Hannibal Lecter on my shirt. All right.
I didn't know he was in Halloween too. We need to end this. Let's just end this episode. My goodness.
Do you want to live?
If it's like half of these movies, I just come right back.
You're not the bad guy in this one.
You're saying I'm not the bad guy? I'm arguing the truth?
I'm the one threatening
murder. I am the
martyr. So you're the martyr over here.
All right. Anyway, we hope you've enjoyed today.
This has been a fun one.
It was so dumb. If you ever want to join us...
Honestly, we love our Halloween episodes
we do.
Our October episodes because we get to some...
some ridiculous arguments. All right. Well, if you ever want to contact us directly, you can. You can email us at everydayboardgames2020@gmail.com. And whether that's entering upcoming contests or previous contests. Again, if you're watching this live, you still have a little bit of time. No, we already pulled it.
We already pulled it.
Yeah, we already pulled it, so you don't have any more time.
Nope.
Sorry. But you can email us at everydayboardgames2020@gmail.com, whether enter in future contests just to say hello, or give us ideas for future episodes. Also, follow us at instagram.com/everydayboardgames so you can see the games that Daniel and I have been playing recently, and some of the other random videos that we tend to post.
This guy. All video re-uploads and reviews are found under youtube.com/@everydayboardgames. And if you like what we do, there are 3 things you can do to help us grow on the platform. Subscribe if you're not, like the video, and comment down below and tell us your thoughts on the subject.
You can also join us live at twitch.tv/everydayboardgames. Like our friend Triune, thank you for joining us today. And anybody else who joined us in there as well, we love hearing the live chatting and the opinions to help me troll Daniel. That's so good. Again, Everyday Board Games, twitch.tv/everydayboardgames.
You just need to stop reading it while you're trying to make a point.
Fair enough.
You get distracted way too easily.
Fair enough. I like the commentary.
All audio versions can be found on most podcast platforms under Everyday Board Games Podcast. This includes Spotify, Amazon Music, Podbean, and Apple.
So we hope you enjoyed today's episode. As always, I've been your host, Daniel.
And I've been your host, Daniel.
And we want to thank you for listening to Everyday Board Games.
And remember, every day is a good day for board gaming.